This is The Session. I like the way it's going down.
Make some noise!
Where we talk about endless topics, spanning from health, violence in the community, relationships, music and how it's changed, and a whole lot more. Make room. Here's your host, I am L, broadcasting all the way from Harlem, New York.
And you need to keep it locked right here.
And this is The Session.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yo, welcome to The Session, man. It's finally good to have you up in here, man. What's up? How you doing today?
Man, I'm chilling. I've been looking forward to it, all week and whatever. You know what I mean?
That's good. Well, I want to thank the guests that's in here right now. We're just going to give it a little bit of time to get some people in here. But before we start, I want you to introduce yourself to everybody. I want everybody to know about, what you're doing and what podcast you be doing. So give the guests right now, let them know what you're up to with your podcast.
What's good, man? I'm Charlie Rockfella, man, host of the Harlem Night podcast. You know what I mean? Right now, besides my podcast, I'm in school. I got Mercs, and I'm working, in Harlem Mount Sinai Hospital. But right now, I'm here to chop it up with my boy.
Yes.
What's going on?
I'm chilling, man. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this. So I'm very excited about doing this. And I want to get started with some questions and all that, So before
Let's
we get
to it.
Before we get to the spicy stuff, man, I want to know, tell the guests, where you're from, where you grew up at, your location and everything, when you was young and all that.
Well, man, to be honest, I'm originally from Queens. I moved to Manhattan to Harlem when I was 6. And I grew up in St. Nick Projects. That's just basically it. And that's where I've been up until the time I went to prison.
Any relatives in your family or brothers and sisters that you grew up with, at that time in Queens and all that? How was the neighborhood out there?
Well, where I grew up in, where I was raised at, was my grandmother and my grandfather and them, Astoria Projects. It was more like a gated community without a gate. It was just one of them projects at the back end on a river.
Okay.
For real. And everybody just knew each other. To be honest, when I came to Manhattan, Harlem was a whole new different world. Queens is really slow. Some people may not believe that, but it is. When I moved to Harlem, I wasn't used to the buildings being as big as they were. People being outside at past 9 o'clock. And in Queens, we wasn't outside past 9 o'clock. And on Sundays, you barely seen anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, it was real crazy in Queens when I was younger.
Wow.
Real quiet life.
Tell me about the life around there in Queens and where you lived at. Was it quiet? Was it, peaceful in that area? Did you have any close friends around that area that you grew up with to this day that you speak to?
Now, now that I'm older, I know the difference between friends and associates. So I wouldn't say that I had a lot of friends out there, but because I spent a lot of my summers out there, I hung out with a lot of people that was my cousin's friends that we both grew up with, and as I got older, it just got more and more distance. And then once my father passed and I stopped going to Queens as much as I did, even though I had a lot of family out there.
How was your connection to your father?
Extremely close.
Tell me about it. I want to know.
Extremely close. He was more like my best friend. My father was a Marine. He got sick overseas. So when he passed, it really messed me up. You know what I'm saying? It made me angry and bitter.
A lot of people are like that, man. And to the people that are listening, that shit takes time, man. When someone real close to you passes away, that shit could really affect you mentally, physically, emotionally, man. So I don't know if you completely healed from that, but I just want to say I'm glad that you're able to tell me about your dad. I want to know a little bit more about your father, you and your father's relationship, like growing up, you know, things he did with you as him being as him being a father and you being a kid. Like, maybe I don't know if he was maybe into sports or if he had the conversation about you about sex. Because when I was young, I didn't get to have that conversation with my father. My father wasn't around at that time when I wanted to learn about certain shit that I should be learning about from a man. So I would like to know stuff like that. Did he teach you anything that you still use to this day?
Yeah, well, the first thing is the hardest thing in the world is to be the son of a Marine.
Mm.
And my father was more like a golden child. Like, let me just give you an idea about him. Um, he went to Catholic school. He was an usher boy. He graduated from high school when he was like 15, right?
Right.
By the time he was 16, he went into the service. But he was so young, my
Ooh.
grandmother had to sign a paper stating that she was okay for him to enlist in the Marines,
Rings. Wow.
right? He did 2 tours, right? That had to be like 8 years. He spent 8 years in the Marine, right? By the time he was 24, he had been around the world twice, spoke 2 languages.
Mm.
He graduated right here from
Clap it up
Fordham
for your father.
University.
Clap it up for your dad. 2 languages, man. That's dope.
Yeah, he graduated right here from Fordham University. He took up communications, but he lived a short life. Like, he did all the things, he did all the right things. But when he came back, he was sick. He had a bone marrow disease that ate him up. Like, his whole top body was big and his legs was skinny.
Mm.
And by the time I was like 16, 18, he passed away. But the type of relationship that me and him had, it was just so real. Like, he told me straight up and down, he said, "Son, I'm dying." He said, "I'm telling you now, so it don't be no surprise. I don't need you falling out and crying and doing all that other stuff. Let's just enjoy the time now."
Was you the oldest?
Yeah,
Wow. So I
I'm
can
the
see
oldest
how.
and the only boy.
Wow. So I can see how that affect you as a young child, a young teenager to a man, especially being the only boy. Wow.
Yeah,
That
and,
takes a
and
lot.
he was like, yeah, he was like really strict, like on, like to be real crazy with it. He was, and to me, even to this day, I say he was a little bit extreme, but I appreciate it because even till today, I apply those tools. Like, I'm a firm believer that your shoestrings should not look dirty in your sneakers. Like, he was the type of person that didn't put his underwears and socks in his laundry. When he took a shower, he washed his underwears and socks at night. He always wore slippers on his feet. You understand? He was the type of person, if your underwears and socks is that dirty that you gotta soak them in bleach, then you need to throw them away.
Mm. How was your
You know,
relationship
so
growing up? Go ahead, continue.
so with that being said, I just, a lot of things I still carry with me, even to now.
That's dope. How was your
Yeah.
relationship with your sisters, being the fact that you were the only boy in the family?
Now this is
Did
crazy, right?
did they teach you anything growing up?
Well, my mom's was very instrumental in a lot of things. You know, um, after my father died, the only person I had was my mom. And I grew up in a family with uncles and aunts. My grandmother on my mother's side had 8 children, and then a lot of her children had 6 and 7 children. So even though I was the oldest out of my mom's children, I was almost the baby out of a lot of her sisters and brothers' children. So even within, my mom's taught me a lot. Like my mom's taught me how to cook, do laundry, clean the house. You know, my mom's taught me how to travel. At 9 years old, I was traveling the 5 boroughs by myself. You
Okay.
know, she instilled a lot of those things in me. You know, because she's all I had. So, with that being said, but when my father passed, just to note something, that's when I took my first drink too.
Wow.
Yeah.
What drink was that?
Uh, Dawn Q vodka. That was the nastiest shit I ever tasted.
I ain't never had that. And I ain't never gonna try that.
For real.
Wow.
Dawn Q. I remember like it was yesterday, sitting in the hallway, down in Astoria, Queens, in the projects. This when niggas used to hang out in the hallways like it was all good.
No, then listen, I can still do that to this day in the hallways, hang out in the hallways in the hood. So ain't nothing new with that.
Yeah, but back then they didn't arrest you for it.
Right.
Now you get caught hanging in the hallway. It's laudable.
Right. And what's your ID? You live here, you're trespassing. So yeah, you're definitely right about that. You're definitely right about that.
For real, man.
So
But you know,
so during school, going to school, elementary school, how was school in your area?
school
The environment, the teachers.
school came easy to me. The problem I had when I moved to Harlem was when I first got to Harlem, my first few years, I had to fight every day.
Oh, so when did you? So you moved to Harlem when you was a kid, or as you
Yeah,
got
when I
older?
was like 6 years old. Yeah,
Okay.
that was my mom's. After my mom's and my father separated, she moved to Saint Nick Projects.
How was the feeling of because you just told me that you were very close to your dad. So I know as a kid and being the only boy in your family, how did you feel, or what was the experience of your parents to separate? To go from one household to another, or you just seeing your dad on the weekends, or whenever he had time to see you. How was that for you?
To be honest, like I really didn't care about that. Like I was never one of them kids that was stressed out about stuff like that. Cause my thing is, I don't give a fuck if y'all don't never speak. Just don't get on my nerves. Like that's the type of person I was. Like I'm really unbothered. But what had me going through it was, like I said, Queens is different than Harlem, right? When I
Of
and
course,
because I come,
I feel like that about every borough, man. Like when I step into Brooklyn, the whole environment over there is different. Queens, Staten Island, the Bronx, Harlem, like the whole environment is completely different. So continue to what you're telling me. I ain't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to elaborate with that every borough is completely different.
yeah, man, it's real. Let me tell you, when I moved to Harlem, it was crazy because like I come from a very educational background. Like at least 85% of the people in my family are college graduates. And that's because my grandmother was school teachers. Like I got a lot of school teachers in my family. And then on my father's side, my grandmother was a school teacher. And one of the things that they were really solid with was getting an education and having some type of spiritual foundation. You understand what I'm saying? Like they was really into the church thing and education. So school always came easy to me. School was never my issue. My issue was when I moved to Harlem, I spoke differently. I carried myself differently. You understand what I'm saying?
Different
Like,
crowd, different environment of
yeah.
people.
And I didn't speak a lot of slang. My grandmother and my mother and them didn't use slang words with us. Not even my uncles and them used slang words. And they was in the street heavy. Like we really don't speak that way. So then I used to dress different. Let me tell you, don't laugh. I used to have to cut off shorts with the party socks that came all the way up to the calf with colors on.
Yo, my grandfather still dressed like that. You know that too.
Yo, hey, Lay, niggas in the projects was not used to that shit. They said, "What the fuck?" And then one day, my grandmother came, and we used to be like really heavy into like the karate flicks and shit. Yo, she brought me some Chinese slippers right now. In Queens, this is the type of shit we was on. Everybody used to look at the karate movies that came on Channel 5 on Saturdays and come outside and be wilding out. You see niggas with the Chinese slippers. Remember, we lived in a gated community. Everybody that was there was either brothers and sisters, best friends of a brother and a sister, or everybody kid in somewhere on their projects, even to this day, is related. Because they never dated or moved outside of the projects. A lot of people is still there that's been there for years. You understand?
I understand.
It's still like that. So when I came, niggas used to be like, "You got on Chinese slippers?" Or I would have on party socks with flip-flops.
With some clutches. That's what they call them now.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like really going through it. Then it started with the bullying shit. And for 5 years, you ever heard of Blackstreet and Rex and Effect and all of them?
No. I never even heard of that. But
like they really big in the industry. You never heard of Ted Rally?
Oh, I know Teddy Roddy. I know the Blackstreet. I know who you're talking about now. Of course, yeah.
All of them guys.
Okay.
Like I grew up with them guys. And when we was younger, I used to have to fight them niggas every day. It felt like every day was a fight.
In Queens or in Harlem?
No, in Harlem.
Wow.
I lived in 212. They lived in 225. But we was in school together. Everything. It was just like, and like, at first I was on some, let me try to move around. I wasn't used to that. You understand what I'm saying? I was never a punk, but I just wasn't used to that. And then one day it just became too much. After that, I was just, they made a nigga a terrorist. Because it just got to the point where I got tired of worrying all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm outside, I'm gonna have to fight these niggas. And then when I was in school, I went to school with these niggas. I'm like, yo. So one day a nigga hit me with a bat in my leg, and I wilded out on a nigga. And after that, it was just it was like terminate on sight, TOS.
TOS.
Yo, I had so many busted lips, so many black eyes, so many knots on my legs, because I just got, one time, 12 niggas chased me, Laywan. Let me tell you. The first time I ran into it, it's like 12 niggas chased me, and one of the slippers came off.
You were scared. You was like, "Oh my God!" I don't blame
like,
you. I would have got up out of there too.
Yo, Laywan, it was crazy, bro. I'm like, all y'all niggas, they was like, "Yo, man, this is what we gonna do." I hit one of them niggas and jetted. Next you know, I'm running with just a sock on. You understand what I'm saying? And when I tell you, these niggas chased me around 3 project buildings.
Wow.
And it just got crazy after that. Then, niggas had this shit where they used to play 4 corners in the hallway. I wasn't used to that neither. All this is Harlem shit. We ain't do this shit in Queens. Niggas stick the elevator and bust the light out. Now we in the dark playing 4 corners. You know how many times I got hit in my stomach? You know how many times I got jacked up in the elevator not knowing?
Probably a lot.
Lay, I'm telling you, I wasn't used to this shit. But they wound up creating a monster. Because by the time I got to junior high school, I was a savage.
Well, how was junior high school then? I mean, you're telling me that when you were younger, you were a little different, and then as you got older, these people turned you to a savage. So,
I got with the program. I got with the program, Lay.
Explain that.
I wasn't that kid from Queens no more. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that kid from Queens no more. Now I'm hitting these niggas with sticks, anything I can find. It was just, and they wound up leaving me alone after a while. because they started to notice I wasn't waiting for them to swing on me no more. I was hitting them first. As soon as I saw them, I was swinging because it got to the point where as soon as I saw them, my nerves would be shot. As soon as I saw them, it was
basically got hype.
nah. I don't know if it was fear, but I just knew that as soon as I saw them, heart start bumping, hands start sweating. I'm like,
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
I'm like, oh man, and then it was one of them things of fight or run. You understand what I'm saying?
So now that we get into that, you're a savage now. When did you start, your first job? Like, when did you start getting yourself introduced to money and all that? Was it for you?
Well, my first actual job was summer youth. I worked at PAL, which is Muslim lady, on 153rd Street, doing daycare.
Okay.
That was dope. That was dope. I liked, I'm normally a people's person. All the kids love the kid. You know what I'm saying? All the kids, So that was dope. And like I said, I grew up in a family with a lot of kids. So I was always used to being around people younger than me, having to take care of them, watch over them. Because I did the babysitting thing a lot for my cousins and them too. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. I got you.
So when I got the daycare thing, a lot of things just always came to me natural. And I'm an easygoing person. I like to crack jokes, I like to bullshit around. And when I was younger, I was nice in sports. My Uncle Dave played every sport. So he would have us out there with him. Football, baseball, basketball. I was on the Gauchos one time. I played for the Biddies one time. Then we had this team that was from the Bronx that was ran by the Twins called the Trotters.
Oh, I know the Twins. Those are the guys that's rapping now in Harlem.
Nah. These Twins is older.
Okay.
But I played for their team when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Harlem is a balling sport. That's like the mecca of basketball. You know what I'm saying?
I would say that in Brooklyn.
So when I wasn't fighting and doing a whole bunch of crazy shit, I was playing basketball.
I also know that you're good with music. Also, when did you get inspired to do music? Because I remember when I first met you as when I was as a teenager, before I became. You were heavily into music.
Well, the funny thing is, right when you met me is like right after my mom's passed. And the funny thing is, I never took it serious, right? I used to always write. I had books and books and books of writing. But when my mom's passed, the writing changed. Like, I just threw away, like, garbage, like, gave me a shopping bag full of notebooks that I used to bullshit around. And the crazy part is, even though I used to fight these guys when I was younger, when I got older and Ted Riley and them got on, they was pulling niggas from the projects. So a lot of my friends, it was like real big in the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did songs with everybody. Bobby Brown, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre. Like, I'm friends with these guys to this day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And when they knew, and then my god brother was real close with Markel Riley.
Okay.
The guy that did Rex in Effect. You probably heard some of their music. You just don't know who they are per se. You understand?
What was the name of these artists again? You say?
Markel Riley.
Okay.
Right. Then you had Kill. You probably heard Jay-Z mention Kill in one of his raps before. When he was like,
did.
Yeah, like they was really big in the late 80s, early 90s. Like they was real big all the way up until like 95, 97.
How did music change your life?
Well, like I said, I didn't take it serious, even when they came and offered me. Like, yo, come on, because what happened was they had a lot of guys that was like doing party music and shit like that. They didn't have nobody that was spitting that pain. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, and that shit wasn't for you back then. That party shit.
Yeah, and what happened was I was talking about hustling. Back in '95, I was rhyming about crack. You understand what I'm saying?
We're gonna get into that in a little bit.
You know, I was rhyming about hustling back in '95. I was rhyming about that. So when they heard I can spit, it was something new to what they camp had. You understand what I'm saying? So they was like, "Come on, man, show." And I really wasn't a people's person, even though I can write and do all that other stuff. I just wasn't a people person. So when he asked me to flow, I used to be like, nah, like acting like real shy, shut down, get real quiet. But then when my mom's passed, I got, for some reason, I just got real serious with it. Like, started investing in equipment. One of my cousins, like a lot of people in my family, is heavily into music too. Like some of my uncles play more than one instrument.
That's tough.
Yeah, one of my, my family, that was my grandfather and them, and his choir made records. You understand? They had one real big selling record when I was younger. You understand what I'm saying? As a choir. And then I got my cousin Tyrone. He's like the guru of music. Like, this guy can play every instrument, and he's good with studio,
That's
like
hard.
engineering and all that shit. Yeah. So when I knew that, one day I went to see him and I was like, "Yo, you want to put together something?" He said, "Yeah." He started doing the beats. I used to go in there and flow, but one thing I wasn't good at was recording. I used to struggle to flow off the beat. So after a while, he had to start making my, like, tailor-made my beats,
Copy.
because even though I've written a lot of stuff, I'd never actually been in a studio.
It's a whole different experience, man, when you first go in there, man.
Yeah.
So
So
go ahead.
now go ahead.
So now that you're doing music and all that and everything, we're getting deeper into this. When did you start, or when did you first get introduced to the drug business? I know that you just recently just came home from doing something. We'll get into that in a bit, but I want to know, when did you start getting into, doing the drug thing and all that? Who introduced you to it, and everything?
Well, the funny thing is, once my father died, I was just really in the streets. You know, I never graduated from high school, and not because I dropped out. I was medically discharged, right? And when I say medically discharged, see, when I was born in the '70s, the shots that y'all get now when you born, they wasn't offered to us at that time. They didn't have the mumps, measles, and rubella shot when I was born.
Okay.
You understand? So I got
Understand.
all the way, I got all the way to like the 11th grade when they realized I didn't have it.
Mm.
Right?
How did that
So
affect
after, huh?
I said, how did that affect you?
It fucked me up because, like I said, I was a dude that loved going to school. Like, if I ain't get an award for nothing else, I got an award for attendance.
Same here. I agree.
You
My
know?
grandma made sure I was in school all the time. I couldn't miss a day of school, whatever. I could be sick. My grandma, you're taking your ass to school. Grandma, I don't feel well. You taking your ass to school. She didn't care.
Yeah, man. And that was
But
kind of odd for me. Like, when they came and took me out the classroom, it was like, listen, you can't come back if you don't do this. And then when my moms did decide to take me to the doctor, we had a problem with a doctor that would give it to me, because I'm 15 years old. I'm in high school. No, you're not allowed to get that shot after you turn 13. If you get that shot after you turn 13, it's liable to turn you sterile.
mm,
And sterile means you can't have kids. So once the doctor told my moms that, she was like, Now we got to figure out another way
Right.
because I don't want you my only son, and I don't want you to risk not
I
being
didn't
able
even
to
know
have
that.
kids.
Wow, that's something new to
You
me. I
know,
didn't even know that.
yeah. So they tried to put me in an alternative school. You probably know the alternative school, the Renaissance School. That's
Yeah, I
on
know about that.
129th Street.
20,
Yeah,
yep.
they put me in there, and that just wasn't working out because after a while they were saying they needed the shot. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it
I
just
get.
turned into me just not going to school.
And then you
You know,
started trying to find your way to make money from there because you had to survive and shit.
now that's you know what's so crazy? I started hanging out with my god brother and them, right? Because like I said, I never had an issue with that. Like when I was younger, I didn't know my mom's wasn't the type of person that didn't have food in the house. We always had food in the house. You understand? We didn't have the latest shit out all the time, but we had food in the house. She always did the laundry and her bills was always paid. You know, when everybody else had cable, we might have had cable in one room. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a lot of things we didn't have, but we always had food in the house. I was always clean. My clothes was always clean. You know, and I was always well kept, groomed and shit.
Let me
But
cut you off. Let me cut you off real quick. Listeners that's listening, there's a record button down at the bottom. You could record a minute message. So if you have any kind of questions, any type of feedback or anything you want to ask my man right here, feel free. I have a voice note from one of the guests, so I'm gonna play that, and I'm gonna let us listen to it.
Shout out to IML. Shout out to Harlem Night. Harlem in the building. King Cooley, we out here now. Peace and love, King Cooley. Harlem, stand up. Let's go.
Yo, King Cooley, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for shouting us both out, man. Much love and respect to that.
yeah, man, peace and love, peace and love.
Thank you so much. So, continuing on what you were saying, I wanted to know before that voice note, when did you
You
start?
know,
When did you start hustling?
I started hanging out. Like, you know, now I'm at the point my father dead. I'm 16, you know, and even though my mom's was all we had, you know, me and my moms didn't really get close until I got like 18, 19. For them 2 years after my father passed, I was like really angry with her because I just felt like you moved me all the way to Manhattan away from all the way from away from my friends and family. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I just started running the street, you know, and she wasn't with arguing and fighting with me all the time. She was just like, look, you ain't gonna be doing what you want in here. You know what I'm saying? And she just understood. I was a growing boy. My father was died, and I didn't give a shit after a while. I was on one. You understand what I'm saying? And I started hanging out, and these niggas went from stealing bikes to robbing the stores on 25th. And like I said, even though I never had a bad situation, I didn't know what it was like to have a fresh pair of Timbs and a Gucci coat. So when these niggas started robbing stores, I was with it.
Mm.
You know, let me tell you something. I'm one of the few niggas in Harlem that was wearing fitty caps.
Okay.
My first fitty cap was a Montreal Expos. Niggas didn't even know what it was. I had the boots.
Ooh, that's throwback. That team don't even exist no more.
I had the Montreal Expos, red, blue, and white joint with the red, cherry red naughty goose on. Reversible joint. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Niggas wasn't used to that. I had the classic freestyle Reeboks for guys called the 500s. Niggas, any real nigga that was getting money from Harlem know about the classic Reebok 500s. I ain't talking about
Those are
Reebok
throwbacks
classics.
too, right there. Those are
Yeah, but
throwbacks
I'm not
too.
talking about I'm not talking about Reebok classics. I'm talking about Reebok classic 500s. They look like the women's 5411s a little bit, but they for guys low cut.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So shit got crazy. You know what I'm saying? Started staying with my grandmother and all that, moving around, and with me hanging with these guys, they was getting money. You know what I'm saying? Timbs, Levis, you know, Gooses. The first Nike boots looked crazy. Them joints was grayish. They looked like grayish, bluish. Had like the red and blue laces. ACG's been out a long time. But I started hanging out with them, and one day I hung out with my god brother, and I seen he was getting fresh all the time. And one time he pulled out a Ziploc bag full of money. I was like, nigga, what's that? Nigga gave me some money, and he was like, yo, you want to come hang out with me? I'm like, yeah. Started hanging out with him. He said, yo, niggas are giving me back then, niggas was giving you shit called like a $50 spread and $125 a night.
Explain
You
that.
understand? Like a $50 spread was basically what they give you for like if you smoke, if you drank, money for food. That was $50. That's what the $50 spread was for you to eat and do whatever it is you need to do while you was out there working. The $125 a night is what they gave you when you finished. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you might have moved $10,000 worth of crack. You was only getting paid $125, $150. But for dudes that's 15 and 16, $175 a night was life. Can you imagine what that is when you times it times 7?
Shit, back in the day, hell yeah. What?
Cabs was only $2. So you looking like the man. You fresh.
Man, listen. Shit was different back then, man. One time I was looking at a magazine and I was looking at some of the sneakers they had back then. Some of the Barclays, some of the pennies that was out back then, man. And them sneakers was cheap. So I could see where you bringing home that a night would have made you would have been fresh every day. I don't blame you.
Right, so now you know the cabs was $2. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm not riding bus and train no more. I'm cabbing it everywhere. I'm fresh. I'm staying in Nautica. Back then, Gap was the shit. Back then, Gap was one of the. If you had on Gap, you was dope because what happens is back then Gap sweatsuits was a lot heavier than they are now. I used to see niggas with the Gap sweatsuits with the Chucker Timbs.
Deep pockets. They had deep pockets back then.
Yeah, and they came in crazy, like, wild colors. You know what I'm saying? So niggas was in them joints. Niggas was in fatigued army suits. You know what I'm saying? So $125 a night plus $50, that's $175 a day. Ooh. Right? And they didn't have narcotics like they got now. You was just being chased by regular
police officers with blue and white.
Yeah. So shit was getting real easy. Like I think they came up with the narcotics officers late 80s. Like by the time the 90s hit, they started having detectives. You understand what I'm saying? Like drug enforcement. But when I first got into it, where I used to, and my brother used to pay me to basically to be a runner or watch his back.
When did you do your first spank? When did you do your first spank?
When my first sale, I can tell you exactly what it is right now. A nigga bought 33 trays from me.
33 trays. You would have thought trays of what?
Crack cocaine. 33 trays. They used to sell
that. Was you selling like marijuana also, cocaine?
Nah, just crack. It was
that's the heavy shit right there.
$2 bottles, $3 bottles, $5 bottles, and dime bottles. Mostly it was deuces and trays.
Okay.
Right? And when I made my first sale for 33, my nigga, that was only $99. I sold 33 trays to a motherfucker. You would have thought I hit the lotto. I said, oh shit, this nigga just gave me $100 bill. I took that shit to my god brother, boom. And after a while, when I started learning the things, he was like, yo, you want to come do this? You know, nothing really big. I still wasn't doing hand to hand. You know, was doing that. And I did that for a minute, ran with him, and then he got jammed up and got on parole. Then he didn't really do it no more. So that was just like almost it for me. And then, like 1990, I had a real bad experience. Like my god brother made $1,000 bet with a nigga that I can out hustle him. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we went to Monticello, New York. That was an experience. That shit was like being in the cabins in the woods. The police rode horses. I ain't never seen no shit like that, Leg. And we was up in the mountains. And we used to have to go to this shit called the bar. That shit was on the highway at the bottom of the hill. And I went out there with two guys that my godbrother thought was his friends. And we got out there and come to find out the guy didn't tell us the truth. He wound up having problems with the guys up there. But like I told you, everybody loved the kid. So I get up there, I'm chilling, I'm doing what I'm doing. And the guys took to me. They say, yo, bro, you can get money, but your friend can't hustle here. Now I'm confused. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm like, what the fuck did he bring us up here in?
Right. What you put me into right now, man?
Yeah. Just so happened the niggas ain't have a problem. And they say, yo, you can get money. Mind you, at that time, like, well, I might have been 19 years old, but I looked like I was 12. Niggas started calling me Babyface Finster. They was like, Babyface, man, you can get money up here. Niggas let me get money up there. But guess what happened? It wound up causing a problem between me and my man. Well, not my man, my brother's friends. Because now I'm up there and I'm doing what I'm doing, but he can't get rid of his shit. So now it's up for me to get rid of everything. You understand what I'm saying? Because he was beefing with the niggas up there. So now he's mad at me for being cool with the niggas. You know, just a whole bunch of fuckboy shit. Rather than to understand, nigga, I'm getting this money. Only thing you got to do is play it cool. I got us. I'm gonna rock this out. We gonna go back home. You know what I'm saying?
And we gonna eat.
Yeah, but that didn't what happened. One day I'm in there, we talking, and they started doing fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the package is just short. You know, just claiming a whole bunch of shit. And one day I'm in there talking with the niggas, and we got into a real big argument, and the niggas jumped me up there. And left me up there. They jumped me and left me. When I woke up, I ain't had no money, no nothing. My face was swollen. And mind you, the sheriff's station was damn near walking like from Taino all the way to 129th Street in St. Nick Projects.
That's type deep. That's not that deep, but it is type deep.
No, it's deep like that when you in a blizzard.
Right. Oh, hell yeah, that's deep if you in the blizzard. Hell
right.
Yeah. Or if it's raining. Yeah.
I'm up in Monticello in August, and it's a blizzard up there. Oh, you know, I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life. Like, nigga, in my mind, I'm like, nigga, it's August. It's still summer. It was snowing up there. And I'm up there with a hoodie on and some fucking sneakers.
And your face is swollen.
Face so swollen. Now I got to walk to the sheriff's station because now I got to go to them to get home. You understand? So now when I get home, you know, I go to my godbrother, Sean, whatever. You know what I mean? He run downs on the niggas, whatever. Now, I'm trying to get my money back from up top. I won that $1,000 bet. I want my money.
I want my money.
So this nigga like, all right, well, if you come in the spot with me, mind you, these are the same niggas that jumped me. My brother ran down on me and everything. So he like, yo, Chow, you want your money, you got to come in the spot, da-da-da. I'm like, all right, so I'm in there. Like, one, I ain't going to hold you. I took everything.
I mean, I would have took.
I tried to take
too.
everything.
After they done
right?
Fucked my ass up. Everything is mine.
Yo, so now I'm trying to leave out the building. I'm on 123rd Street and 7th Avenue. This one they used to have this shit called the Candlelight Chinese restaurant over there. Candlelight 2. I'm trying to come out the building. His cousin upstairs. His cousin don't know I done took everything. I'm coming out the building and running to these niggas. I gotta fight these niggas again later on. They jump me again.
God. Got your ass whooped twice in a day.
Twice in a month.
Twice in a month. Jeez.
Yo, when these niggas looked, I had everything. The money, the drugs, everything. Nigga, y'all gonna have to kill me. I'm not giving none of this back. You know what I'm saying?
Especially after that just fucked me up and jumped me. That nigga's gonna have to kill me.
So, we wound up brawling, whatever. And I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know how it died down. I don't even know how that beef died down. It happened so long ago. But none of us, after the fighting and shit, none of us ever got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't do nothing to each other.
That's tough.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't see these niggas for almost 15 years after that. Well, one nigga I didn't see no more. One guy, but let me tell you how God works in mysterious ways. They say that when I finally did see the nigga, his face was all cut up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking he did some trifling shit to somebody else and they just got a hold of him. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Definitely feel you on that.
But after that happened, I started carrying that thing. And I never went out of town no more. You couldn't get me to go out of town with nobody. And when I did go out of town, I went by myself. And when I did go, I didn't tell nobody I was going.
Did you ever have to use that thing before? Do you have any stories about that?
Not, I've had situations where I've been in a shootout in a 20-second shootout felt like 2 hours. No police coming. My man got hit. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody never lost their life or nothing like that, but niggas went to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Just to be in that experience is different, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that shit felt like a movie. 20 seconds felt like 2 hours. No police came. Avenue got quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody ducking and shit, screaming, scrambling around, trying to not get hit. Man.
My man got hit. He running the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? The shit threw him up against the wall. When he jumped up, he running the wrong way. Now we got to catch him to bring him to the hospital. And the other nigga chasing the other nigga in the car, shooting and shit. That shit was crazy, like a movie.
A lot of things going on at once. What was your biggest payday when you were selling crack?
When I started doing it for myself.
But how was that experience?
Well, it's funny how that happened, because the same guy that my daughter's uncle, I used to be down with him. And the funny thing is, we always find ourselves in a situation where we grinding. He was the golden child. Niggas used to flood him. And he was just, he was friends with Richard Porter. He was friends with all the big time drug dealers. So they used to hit him with work off on his sleeve. And he had a mean hustle. He was, he's like 3 years younger than me. And after all the bullshit, when I decided to get down, I got down with him. And that was like 95.
Wow.
95, I got down with the nigga. You know what I'm saying? And first he paid, huh?
No, go ahead.
First he was paying me. He was like, "Yo, Charlie, man," because he used to have bricks. And he used to say, but he used to break them down. He wasn't selling weight. So he was just like, yo. Mind you, everybody got arrested. Everybody did time, came home, niggas changed their life. But in the beginning, I only used to bag up for the nigga.
Right. Okay.
He didn't trust nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Because, bagging up is tricky. You can bag up and today make 400, right?
Right.
You'll bag up and make 500 off of 10 grams. And then tomorrow, you'll bag up and because of the way you cutting it, you making 600 off of 10 grams, right? Now, if you got a nigga in there If you say, listen, I want 5,000 off 100 grams, and he make 6,500, you won't never know. He's just gonna give you back what you told him you wanted. You understand now? To some people, that's considered stealing. To some people, you got back what you asked for. You understand?
Right.
It all depends, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? So his thing was, listen, man, just bag it up and tell me what you make. But he felt he couldn't trust a lot of people. So he asked me to do it. And I used to do it and he used to pay me $1 off of every gram. So if I bagged up a brick, that was $1,000 off of every brick that I bagged up. You understand? So, but even that got tricky because sometimes, and he used to pay his workers good. He was paying his workers $1 off of every bag. So say, for instance, his workers, and he was moving an eighth a day. That's 125 grams. That's an eighth of a brick. That shit bags up like 7,000, 8,000. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was doing that a day. You understand? He was moving an eighth a day. You know what I'm saying? So, and his workers used to get paid. He was paying his workers $1 off a bag. So if they sold 50 cracks, that was $50. Sometimes these niggas would do like 5,000 and 8,000, and these niggas was making like $200 every hour. You know what I'm saying? $200 every hour. And this is just off them pitching for him.
That's the busy day.
No, that was almost every day.
Wow. Damn.
Right? Mind you, we just look at it like this. We on 100 and we on 7th Avenue between 31st and 35th Street. Traffic crazy. You understand? Them blocks were still looking like the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he doing like an eighth a day. And one day he brought me in like, yo, listen, I need you. After a while, I was no longer just bagging up. I was pitching too, but he didn't know I was pitching. Because sometimes his workers would make so much money that they would stop at 12 o'clock. But customers still would be blowing the phones and shit up 2 o'clock in the morning. So me and his cousin wound up getting really close. He was like, nigga, these niggas ain't outside. Customers is out there. Let's go outside. So after I would get finished bagging up, and being that when they finished, they had to give me the money for the packages, he never thought about it. You understand? He never looked at it like who was moving it. As long as when he came in the morning, I had his money. You know what I'm saying?
Feel you.
He never asked. So now he's paying me to bag up. And I'm selling shit on the side. But I never told him. And yo, bro, when I tell you this, let me tell you something, lady. The first time I went out there with these niggas, and none of his workers was working, because they used to all smoke, go to the parties, go to the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Like on Friday, you couldn't get his workers to stay out there late. These niggas would bounce like 12 o'clock.
It was a lit day. That's a party day.
Yeah, but the flow was still coming like you would not believe. Between 12 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning, he used to still do at least almost $3,000 worth of shit.
That's because niggas had money. So, niggas was coming straight to you. They get hot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, bro, let's go out there and see. Remember, in police, the DTs wasn't really running after 12 o'clock at night. Like now, you see the DTs is out there 24 hours. Back then, they wasn't out there. You wouldn't see no more DTs until like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. After 12 o'clock, you ain't see no more DTs. It just used to be regular police officers. You know what I'm saying? So we was out there killing them. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. Can you imagine selling for a nigga? He just paid me $1,000 to bag up a brick. Then I go out there and sell almost $3,000 worth of shit and make $600. Make $600 on the corner. Make $600 in damn near 4 hours, 5 hours.
Some niggas don't get that on a check, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people make less than that every 2 weeks in the check. You made that in 4 hours.
Lay, and at this time, Lay, I'm only what? I'm only 23. Right? So I'm killing them now. I'm fresh. I'm wearing A solos. These boots back then, A solos was $300. You couldn't
$300.
Regular niggas couldn't afford them. Regular niggas couldn't afford A solos back in the days. Them shits was $350. North Face, almost $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga wearing the Mark Andrew leathers, all that. When I tell you I was so fresh, it was ridiculous. I wearing the black leather pea coats, the fitties, the scullies. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Killing them. And one day, how he found out, I happened to be on the corner with him. And the nigga walked up and was like, yo, Charlie, man, I ain't see you out there last night.
I hear you.
Mind you, because I'm bagging up. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I was bagging up. So he's like, out there last night. He was like, yo, man, this and that. So, after a while, he started getting in his feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what you doing, this and that? And my argument was, do it matter who moved it? You expecting your money when you come in the morning? It didn't matter. So
didn't matter.
From that
it's
point
there.
on, yes, but at that point on, he looked at it like I was just getting money all around the board. You understand what I'm saying?
He was probably looking at you like, damn, you about to take over.
And it really wasn't the case. And then one day when shit started getting crazy, he said, like I said, he came to me again. Yo, Charlie, man, I need you to watch the workers. Because now he called himself getting a spot. The niggas wasn't on the corners no more. He had a spot, a 24-hour joint. But he had nobody to watch the workers. He would go home, go to sleep, and come back. And sometimes the money would be short. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Started working, and one day I happened to be there, and I started seeing how shit was flowing. And I'm like, bro, you need to do such and such. Like I said, like, I'm always looking at TV. I'm always, I'm real observant to shit. So I told a nigga, I said, yo, I got a way where you can stop getting your runners and everybody arrested. Because they was getting arrested for stupid shit, loitering, because the DTs would be in the building. You know what I'm saying? Or they would get arrested for a sale because the police would come over the roof. So one day I'm in there and I'm looking and I'm like, nah, it got to be a way to do this shit. So he went away with his girl one day and I took the money and put locks on the apartment that he used to be in. I put locks on there. I went to the super and got him to put a slip bolt on the door. Because you can't lock the roof because it's a fire hazard, but you can put a slip bolt there. You know what I'm saying? And that was to stop the police from coming over because that's how they was getting in the building to arrest motherfuckers for trespassing and loitering. Once I did that, we started killing them at nighttime. Because I used to work from 3 in the afternoon until 7 in the morning for them. Then I would go back home. So once we was in there like a week, I started to realize, like, damn, he missing money because after he'd leave at 11 o'clock to go home, he would be asleep and wouldn't come back until 7. But by that time, we got this shit called feeding time. Feeding time is between 5 and 8 in the morning. That's like a serious rush hour.
That's like the fiends coming out.
Yeah, and he used to miss all that money. But, his workers, at the time, he started using crackheads for workers. And they really wasn't saying much. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care. They getting high, they selling crack, they doing whatever they doing. They didn't care. But when he started having me there, I looked at the situation. I said, I know what I'm going to do. I turned it up. You know what I'm saying? So one day I told a nigga, I said, yo, give me 30 grams. He said, you're going to bag up 30 grams and go on the spot with 30 grams? I'm like, yeah. He said, you think you can move almost $1,700 worth of work between 1 in the morning and 6 in the morning? I said, yeah. I did that shit, right?
Damn.
Shit started getting crazy. After that, the money just started coming like it was before. We doing an 8 for day. That's like 500 grams every 3 days. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Mind you, if I'm 23, 24, he's only 21, 20. You know what I'm saying?
Right. At that age, jeez.
Yeah. So now we killing him. But now that we getting money and we in a spot, he's starting to take the money. You know, he buying cars, he going out, he doing him. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, he put me in power. You understand?
Made you the
So,
boss.
yeah, so now everybody coming to me. But you know what the problem started? When me and him would be outside and they would walk past him to come to me.
Come to you. Because they were seeing you more.
He didn't understand that. And he didn't understand that he put me in that position to do that. You understand? He didn't have to worry about nothing except making sure that he kept me with work and that he got his money every day. That's the only thing he had to worry about. Was making sure we had something to sell and that I had his money for him every morning. And believe me, that was not an issue.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That was not an issue. And that's when we started having our falling out because he like, oh, niggas is taking over my joint. Niggas ain't listening to me. You know, after a while, he would come around and fuck it up. Because once I started putting a lock and everything on the door and got some runners, I rearranged how everything was going. I rearranged how he had it structured. You understand? Because now we didn't have people standing in the hallway with crack. We were selling crack out of the apartment. And I had a lady who knew everybody that would run down back and forth from me. And I used to give her 50 cents off of every bag for just running up and down the stairs for me. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that she used to make, off of every 1,000 packs, she made $100. And like I said, we was doing like 6,000 and 7,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? 6,000 to 7,000, sometimes 8, depending on the situation. Sometimes 8. You understand what I'm saying? And so, can you imagine that? She made $800 in 24 hours just for answering the bell.
Answering the bell. Wow.
But it kept us safe. You understand? Because it was about controlling who came in and didn't.
So now that he's jealous now because
he's in his feelings that everybody is now flocking to me. You understand?
That's his fault though, because he was never around.
No, it wasn't a bad thing though. He didn't realize the only thing he had to do was collect money. He didn't realize that. And what happened was everybody started, yo, Charlie, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? And that started to cause an issue between me and him. You understand what I'm saying? Because he started to change. Even though he was the one with all the money, he was the one changing. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody was coming towards you. So I can see why.
Yeah, and then one day
it was respect
my daughter, Alyssa's older sister mom.
Right.
One day I'm in the spot. Me and her got our first apartment up here in the Bronx, 167th Street in Clay Avenue. That joint was mean. It was a loft apartment, walk-in closet, all that. That joint was fire. But the more I started hustling, the more I started staying out. You understand what I'm saying? Only time I used to come home was to take a shower. And I used to make sure that on Sundays, Saturday nights, I used to go in the house and didn't come back out. I used to give every day, every Sunday. I didn't hustle on Sundays. So those was the days that me and her were together. Now, I used to go home every day. I just used to be back out in the street. Like I would get home like 6 in the morning, be back out like 4 or 5. You understand? So she started to feel neglected. But my thing was, I'm getting this money. I had a whole bunch of money in my closet in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit was crazy. And it started somehow or another, me and him drew a friction. And let me tell you, one time we had this nigga who father owned 5 McDonald's. He lived in Lenox Terrace on 132nd Street in Lenox, right? And one day he walked, and he used to get high. One day he walked up to me. He said, "Yo, Charlie, you get ready to do your own thing." He said that to me later on. It never even crossed my mind.
I could see it now from after he started getting upset and jealous because everybody was coming towards you. That was definitely coming.
You know, and mind you, now me and him is close to this day. And like I said, we've always taken care of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Feel you?
He just didn't understand the position that he put me in. But he put me in that position to keep him out of the position. You know what I'm saying? He didn't realize he had the best hand. You understand what I'm saying? You know how many niggas wish they had niggas work for them and they can run around and do all the shit they wanted to do, and the only thing they had to do was collect money? You know how many niggas wish they had that?
A lot.
The only thing you got to do is come in the morning and pick up your money, drop off some work, and go back where you was going.
Back the way you was
You know how
going.
many niggas wish they can do that?
A lot.
So
But
he
we
didn't
don't see that.
understand what he had. Only thing he was worrying about was now my name was ringing. You understand? Everybody was talking about me. But it wasn't because I did anything that he didn't ask me to do. I did everything he asked me to do. No matter what it was. If he asked me to do it, I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Feel you.
And the funny thing, like, I didn't even do it for the money. I did it out of the love for the dude. The money just came. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was genuinely done when he asked me to hold him down. I was like, all right, cool. Because I never even said, yo, if I do this, how much you going to pay me? That never even crossed my mind. I just said, I knew if he good, I'm good. That was always my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you on that.
I never even asked him out how much you going to pay me, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to get, none of that. So, you know, we made a lot of money and shit got hectic, and before you knew it, by the time 99 came, 1999, and my mom's passed away, me and him we didn't stop being friends. We just went our separate ways
Different
business-wise.
ways.
Because the way he was handling business and the way I did things was two different things. It was just like, he was the type of nigga, if you fucked some money up and you owed him, if you worked for him, he didn't pay you no more. He used to chump you. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't agree with that. Like you was on punishment forever. Like he would, if you made $500, he would give you $250.
It's trash.
You understand? But that was the cost you paid for crossing them. You understand what I'm saying? If you fucked his money up or he felt like you stole from him, he'll let you still work with him. He would still let you get money.
He was just cheating you though.
But he was no longer treating you like you was part of the team. He treated you like an outsider at that point. You know what I'm saying?
It's corny. But I mean, I can understand how he felt from money being missed and all that.
You know what I'm saying? I just didn't agree with it because I said, damn, if you're not gonna pay the nigga, get rid of him. Because what happens is it's different when you got men that work for you and when you got women that work for you. See, when you got women that work for you, you can pretty much scold them a little bit and know that it'll never be nothing more than that. But when you got boys and guys and grown men working for you, you can't treat them like that because what happens is you have to kill them. You understand what I'm saying? Because they start to try you. They keep testing you. You understand?
Like if you a sucker or something.
Yeah. You know, their attitude is they fuck your money up and be like, listen, man, fuck that. I'm not doing nothing. Then you got to beat them up and you fuck around and be in jail fucking with niggas. You know what I'm saying? Women are more easier to work with than guys because when guys fuck up, you got to really kill them niggas because if you don't, they lose all respect for you. You know what I'm saying?
I get you on that. That's definitely true. And that
so
still goes on to this day.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, bro, you either going. So, you know, I didn't agree with the way he did things, you know, but Who am I? It wasn't, it wasn't my business. I was only a helper. You know what I'm saying? But then when the time came and I needed to make that move, I made that move.
Mm.
And then like I said, I was cool with everybody. Everybody knew I was a workhorse.
So you
Yo,
start
like
buying.
I would have niggas hustling and still be out there selling crack myself.
It was all about that money.
I used to walk from how I built my clientele up. I used to walk from 133rd Street to 120th Street and Fifth Avenue.
Jeez. That's a walk.
And I met a lot of people. And then, people knew me from all over because niggas used to come to 132nd Street to cop. So when they used to see me in where they lived at in they hood, they be like, Charlie, you got something on you? I'm like, yeah. After a while, they be like, back then, cell phones, you used to pay by, like, if you couldn't get no more than 100 minutes, and they was charging you a lot. Like, your phone, back then, cell phone bills might have been $500 for, like, 50 minutes. But you had nights and weekends free. And Singular was the only one that had, Singular was the first one to have cell phone. But it wasn't unlimited, nothing. You used to really have to pay for every call. Each call might have been $1.25.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money for a fucking call.
And the phones was bullshit. They ain't had no cameras. They ain't have no texting.
No texting.
It was just strictly phone.
So a 20-second call, $1.50 gone. Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like they used to page me. Back then was the free pages. You get a 1-800 number and you could talk to the operator, and the operator would tell the person what you wanted. I mean, what you wanted the person to know, and that's what I had. The doctors still use them today. When you look at them joints, it tell you what's being said or whatever. I had one of those in Lay. That joint used to blow me. Yo, I'm on 3-2. Charlie, come see me. Charlie here. Mind you, I still had workers, but I had all women workers. Maybe 1 or 2 guys, but I had all women workers. And it was me and my man Rob. And Rob. Remember me?
I know
Rob.
Rob.
His son Rob.
That's my man.
Yeah, his father. Me and his father. Remember, we used to do the God things. Remember?
Right. Go to the movies and all that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So me and him and Lay, it just took off. Like I came up with a concept, and all the older niggas love me. They knew I was a workhorse. So one of the ladies that I was cool with brought me to meet a man. I knew him, but I never met him personally. Took me to meet this nigga. He had an after-hour spot, a gambling spot, where they used to sell coke and everything. But the nigga had like 3 bricks. He couldn't do nothing with. He wasn't into selling weight. You understand? And he wasn't selling crack. He only used to sell coke inside his after-hour spot. So the nigga said he had a whole bunch of coke that was powder, and he couldn't do nothing with it. So he sat down with me. He said, yo, you think you can move this? I'm like, yeah. He said, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 300 grams, but you got to pay for one of them. I'm like, so I got the 300 grams, paid for one of them. You know what I'm saying? He told me what he wanted back. 2 days later, I gave the nigga back his money. Boom. He was like, yo, you know, just take all of this. Later. You know how I got that shit? When I went to his after-hour spot, I went to the nigga's spot at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Later, this is some real movie shit. The nigga got an empty, like he had this long bag. Looked like some shit that you ever go to the supermarket and you got them bags, you put the fruit and shit in and tie it up?
Yeah, the little plastic bags.
He had something like that, but it was a little heavy. He opened up the juice container, poured the juice out, rinsed it out, and put the bag. Mind you, the juice container, he didn't have to open it up. Remember, they got the screw on top.
Right.
Screw the top off, put the bag in there, and poke the bag all the way down in there until it was just a little bit of the bag left. And he had me hold it. and he got this shit called a funnel. He stuck it in the hole with the bag and emptied all the powder coke. Yo, when I tell you this cocaine was like powder, and it just went all in the fucking juice container. Bro, that shit was like a brick and a half in there. He put the shit in the shopping bag and told me to walk with the joint like I came from the supermarket. I had a juice container full of nothing but raw cocaine.
Wow.
When I got to the spot, I had sent this lady to get me some baggies. This is how I started selling 15s. The bitch brought me back the wrong bags. Everybody know what baggies are. That's them colorful shit you probably see niggas put shit in.
Right. The green shits, the purple shits, blue.
Yeah.
They come
She
in
brought
different
me
colors.
the wrong size. Yeah, she brought me the wrong size. She brought me some 58 skinnies. When I told her I wanted the 58 skinnies to make dimes with, she brought me this shit and I bagged it up. That that coke came back so good. I think out of that 1.5, I think I had like damn near an extra 50 grams off it, right? That's how raw it was. Bagged that shit up, Mace. And when I realized that she got me the wrong bags, it was too late. I had already bagged up a lot of the coke. I had already cooked it up and I had already cooked it and bagged it. Cause back then I used to drink while we had this shit called, you ever heard of Devil Springs?
Yeah, I heard of it. They still sell that garbage to this day.
That shit is 160 proof liquor. We used to make smoothies with the shit, right? But we used to also put like 2 caps of it in the water with the cocaine to make it really hard.
So it had that to it.
Yeah. So I'm drinking it. I'm drinking my smoothies and shit. And I'm so nice, I don't realize that the bags is the wrong size bags. I woke up the next morning, I'm like, yo, Lay, I felt like I was almost $3,000 short because it didn't bag up what it was. You understand? Normally, off of 1,000 grams, right?
Right.
You bag up almost $75,000. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you with that.
So I'm like, this shit crazy. And when I look, I said, nah, I'm selling these shits for $15. I had to get my money back, Lay. I had to get my money back, Lay.
I don't blame you.
So I counted it all out. Me and her sat there and burnt the tip of every bag so the crack wouldn't fall out of it. Burnt the tip, and I put them shits in. Each pack of 15s was 20. Each pack was $300. And one day I just sat there and I looked at it and I said, how the fuck am I gonna get rid of all of this shit? I said, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell these 15s 2 for $25.
That's a killing right there. You can't go wrong with that.
Yo, Lay, when I tell you
That's a deal.
The first 100 grams of this shit went like this.
Like hotcakes, I bet.
I said, what the fuck just happened?
You just created something right there.
Lay, when I tell you, I ain't gonna lie.
And they gonna keep coming because that's a fucking deal.
From 2000 all the way up to 2005 when they ran in the house, I was selling 15s, man. Straight run. No police, nothing. Killing them and I had a lady that was cool with a lot of other people, and this is why I was able to kill them. I had a spot in 32nd Street. I had a spot in 33rd Street. by the firehouse between 7th and Lenox. Then I had a spot in 36th Street on the 5th floor, right? Because all of these ladies knew people, right? And everywhere they took me, everybody just happened to jump on board. So I started planting all of these ladies in these apartments. Yo, Swall, you're going to be on 36. Put it in there. Put cable in there. Because we had the illegal cable.
That's the
We had
box.
the illegal
Little
cable.
small box.
Yeah, we had the illegal cable with the radio that played CDs. Put the cable in there with the nice little 19-inch TV. They ain't really give a fuck with a bunch of bootleg CDs. They ain't give a fuck. They was able to listen to their music and at this point, like I wasn't selling crack anymore. I was selling hospitality. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, everybody wanted to come because now I got a spot. It's lit, it's clean. And then what made it even so good, Lay, because when I came in the morning, I ain't care who was there. I treated everybody to eat. Well, I ain't care if you got high or not. And I never treated the crack. I'm not going to even use that word because I hate the word crackheads. I hate that word. People that got high, I never treated them less than. I used to see them on the street. I go into the superstore. I'm about to get me something to eat, buy them too. So that was another reason why they fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? Like they was
A lot of them people also know they got a lot of connections to a lot of shit, man, too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
some of them people work for good work for certain stores. Yo, listen, you give me this, I'll hook you up with such and such, or this belt, or I mean whatever they was working at.
Yo, Lay, when I tell you, bro, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. Right? From 99 all the way up until they ran in that private house that I had on 131st. It was consistent, 24 hours. Can you imagine having yo
I'm listening.
From 127th Street, right? Because at the time I was dealing with a girl from Baltimore, and she only used to come up to New York to see me. But whenever she came to see me, we had a room on 127th Street. You used to pay $150 a week. That was my download joint. I used to cook up, bag up everything in there. From 127th Street to 132nd to 136th Street between 7th and Lenox, I had on lock. I had women in each one of them joints. And I don't know if you remember the Red House on 131st
I remember
Street.
the Red House.
Lady,
I
when I tell you I was killing them out of that basement. You know what I'm saying? But I still had other spots. That was 24 hours. Can you imagine what that is? Lady, I'm not capping and I'm not fronting. I used to pay a nigga $400 a day to drive me around. He used to pick me up at 12 in the afternoon and drop me off like 3, 4 in the morning. Right? That's almost $6,000 a month for a nigga to drive me around.
And you say you was paying her $400 a day?
Huh?
You say you was paying $400 a day. Then he was making some bread.
Right now, you would think if you're making that much money, you would have went and got yourself a car, right?
Right.
I ain't want the responsibility. I wasn't on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I was young. I didn't even hold money. I think every day was a party.
Because you're young.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't have nobody tell me like, yo, Charlie, nah, don't do that, don't do that. And in my mind, like I said, I wasn't fucked up. Like I didn't come from a fucked up household when I was younger. I just didn't know what it was like to have goose bombings and shit like that, like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So when I started getting money, I bought myself whatever I wanted. I ain't care what it cost. I was hustling in a pair of $500 Prada boots that came all the way up to my calf, Rockstar joint. Shit that make Jagger
I
and them
remember
niggas.
them. I remember those. I remember seeing some of those on your feet.
You know what I'm saying? My man cousin Trace put me onto those. Cause this nigga had a get fresh habit. Like he was into always staying fresh. So he's like, yo, Kelly, man, I got these Prada joints. These joints like 500. I bought them. I can't fit them. You want them? I tried them joints on. Them joints looked at me. Them shits were so comfortable. I was running around them shits like they were sneakers.
Man, I remember those times, man. Before Alyssa came in the picture, man, you was buying shit for us and my brother.
Yeah, man.
I remember that Clippers Lamar Odom jersey. You got me.
That joint was crazy, right?
That joint was crazy, man. Clippers Lamar Odom with the headband. I got a few pair of sneakers from you. I had them penny hard. I had a pair of pennies from you also that you had bought.
Yeah,
so yeah, I remember.
Remember when LeBron dropped his first joint? We drove to the
Yeah,
hill
those are, man. You know how much them sneakers cost now?
That's crazy.
I can't find them sneakers nowhere. I don't want them shits again till this day, but I can't find them sneakers nowhere. I think those are the Generation Zoom ones, LeBron's. Those are his first sneakers. Them shits was fire.
Remember Sean used to have Get Fresh Fridays in school? I took the nigga to buy the Tim's with the state property joint.
Right, the state
Remember
property.
State Property had the Gucci. That girl used to let me hold her Audi. Remember I used to have the Audi?
Right.
Mind you, I knew how to drive, never owned a car. Except for one time when I decided to get me a fucking car and my man Rob Girl threw a rock through the window, broke the whole joint. And then the shit rained. Yo, she broke the window that night. In the morning, the shit rained. We didn't even know. When we got to the car, all the seats were stinking. Niggas just got rid of the fucking car after that, man. I never owned another car after that.
So now that you getting all this money and all that, when did you have your first child? While you was getting all this money and all that, when did you?
No, I had already had my first.
You already had your kid, okay?
Yeah, I had already had my first 3. Let me see. I had already had my first. Yo, to be honest, when I came into your life, I had already had like 5 daughters.
Okay.
But because of the lifestyle that I led. You know what I'm saying? Judge Judy was like, I couldn't be in their life.
Feel you.
Is real crazy because when I look back on that, I think that's where all the anger came. Because let me tell you something, Lewan. People think I made money because I sat out to do this. Nah. I was just an angry dude. Like my father died, my mom's died. Then the Judge Judy told me I couldn't see my daughters no more. I was just. I think I made all the money that I made because I just didn't give a fuck if I lived or died at the time.
I don't care. You was lost and you had no one to go to for advice at that time because your parents is gone.
Yeah, and what happened was then when I got with your mom and then my nephew, y'all just became my everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like it was like y'all was my everything.
We was cool, man. We was low key. We was just cool, quiet young brothers, man. And me and my brother come from a crazy lifestyle too. Growing up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What happened? No. Okay, we back.
It was just like I just took y'all and y'all was just mine. Like I ain't care about nothing. Whatever y'all wanted to do, we was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't really care too much about nothing.
And we was humble though, man. We was humble. We ain't asked for too much. We enjoyed the time. Going to the movies, going out to eat, or you just taking us to get whatever when we was young. We enjoyed that time, and we was always humble about it. Because me and my brother, we ain't have both of us didn't have none of our fathers around us growing up, so we just had our grandfather. So just to have that male comfort, to teach you stuff and talk about stuff with you, or just to do stuff together, that shit really helped, man. And I appreciate that to this day.
Let me tell you what was crazy. When I finally got locked up and was going through the system and shit, not to jump, but when I ran into homeboy in that jail, and the nigga told me he tried to come at y'all crazy, man, I wanted to kill that nigga in there, man.
I remember that shit when with this dude. I'm not gonna even say his name, but yeah, I remember with this dude. And my grandfather had told you the situation and shit, and you really wanted to smoke him.
Yeah, man. Me and my cousin went looking for that nigga, man. That nigga said, he did what? I said, oh, nah. And like I said, at the time, y'all was my everything. You know, it was like I just had y'all and my nephews. I was like, and I was, you know, niggas ain't know I was on one. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really on one. Like I really just didn't care about nothing. I was with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was with, and my niggas was with it. Like I had my man Bezo from Queens. This nigga, he with it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I told that nigga, man, we was driving around looking for that nigga, man. Everybody calling me, nah, Charlie, you know, leave it alone. I said, man, listen, man, I'm gonna tune this nigga right on up. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
and
you with
just
that,
so happened,
man.
you know, just so happened I never seen the nigga until we got in, until I ran in there and I had y'all pictures in my cell. And the nigga was like, oh, I know them. You know them? I said,
was
oh,
it.
you know them?
You put
And
two
they
and two
started yelling
together.
all loud for the CEO. Nigga started yelling all loud. The CEO, oh, y'all gonna jump me? My man said, nigga, we gonna spank you in here. Nigga said, oh, y'all gonna jump me?
Oh shit! Damn.
But you
Okay,
know what's so funny? Because it was Alyssa and his son. He said, how you get a picture of my son?
You put two and two together, and that was it.
I said, oh, that's your son. Oh, Marie, your mom's? He was like, yeah, man, you know this and that.
CEO, help!
I said, oh, so you know my sons? He was like, your sons? I said, yeah, Laywan and Sean. He said, oh, them are your sons? I said, nigga, man, let me tell you something, man. You had a fight with CC? Yeah, man. I left out the part about him approaching you, right? So I set him up. I said, you had a fight with CC? Yeah, man. You know CC tried to diss me, man, and treat me this and that. I said, so you had a fight with his grandson too? Nah, man, you know, it wasn't like that, man. This and that. Me and my nigga grabbed that nigga up, man. That nigga started talking that. Y'all gonna jump me?
Yeah, because I ain't had nothing to do with that shit, man. I'm this little ass boy, man. That nigga just grabbed me out of nowhere.
Yeah, man. Like, it was crazy. And that nigga started yelling for the CEO. Yo, y'all gonna jump me? Because he wasn't calling the CEO, but he was talking loud for her to hear him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And
bro,
I'm a little kid. So, you know, after what he did, I was ready to fight too. I wasn't scared. I didn't care how backed up this nigga was. I was ready to fight. I threw my headphones in the car like, yo, I'm ready. But my grandfather was like, get your ass in the car. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
And I didn't want to hear that shit at that time.
And that's what I said to him. I said, yo, how you gonna hit him, man? I said, he a kid, man. How you gonna hit a kid? Oh no, but he just tried to come up with every excuse in the world. But I said, yo, bro, listen. And this is what I was telling Alyssa. I said, listen, don't really know how long I've been in y'all life. Like, y'all was still in elementary school.
Right.
That's how long that was. That's how you
long
understand
it's
what I'm
been.
saying?
That's some years with you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was like, wow, I was like, people just didn't understand. I didn't have this big scheme to sell drugs and get money in. My thought wasn't, oh, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It was just I was in a wave. You know what I'm saying? I was in a wave. I was angry, hurting, confused, mad, and in the process, I just made a lot of money. I made a lot of money in the midst of all that craziness. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you with that. Definitely.
But some people wouldn't know that. Some people wouldn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I tell people that, like, yo, bro, I ain't had no plan. I was just an angry young nigga. And I just happened to make a lot of money. And the reason why I made a lot of money because I didn't care about the consequences. I didn't care if I went to jail. I didn't care if I got hurt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. You know, I didn't have my daughters, you know, and then, like I said, you know, my nephews came and y'all came and I started to slow up just a little bit.
People was coming in your life trying to change it for the better.
You know what I'm saying? I slowed up a little bit. After a while, I just started focusing on the money. And I distanced myself from all the niggas I knew that was all type of time. You know what I'm saying? And I just started getting money. And I started coming around y'all more often. Then I built a studio. I started to go see my cousin more often. I wasn't really on them corners like that no more.
Because you were spending your time with us and the people you want that was making you happy at that time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, Wade, but
So now
I
that
can honestly say I made over $1 million.
It's a lot of money.
From 98 all the way up to 2008.
Damn. That's some chicken right there.
And that's just me being by myself. Now, if I was to say when I dealt with my man, that would be a 13-year run I had. Because my man wound up getting arrested and going to jail and doing a 4 to 9. But even after me and him split, I can say from 95 all the way up. Yeah, I'm going to say from 95, 94 all the way up until 2008. That's like a 13-year run before I went to jail. Because even though I got arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
They never caught nothing on me. Like, they would catch shit like beers, money. You know how many times I got arrested and they sent me through the thing and they hit me with disorderly conduct, had me doing community service.
The easy shit.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what the funny thing is, a lot
Don't
of
get in
people
trouble
don't
for
know.
the next 6 months type shit.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't know, if you keep getting arrested like that, after a while, it turns into a felony.
Right. That shit just keeps building up and building up.
Yeah, you understand? So even though I never was charged with a felony or nothing like that, they just kept trying to grab me up. I remember one time they ran in the brownstone.
Now, I remember the brownstone.
And took me in, and I told your mother to stay in there with all the money and the drugs.
Money.
I said, whatever you do, do not leave. Don't leave.
Guess what?
Nah, she ain't leave.
Leave.
Let me tell you. This is 100% truth.
Wow.
How me and your moms got really close, because I was in a situation one time and I was sitting outside and I don't know where she was coming from, but she was dressed up and she knew this lady named Kim. And she was like, oh, is Kim in there? I'm like, no. She was like, oh, can I sit here and wait for it? I'm like, yeah. So we sitting there kicking it, whatever. And she started to hang around with Kim. Kim used to travel from Delaware to New York, Delaware to New York. You know what I'm saying?
Got
and her and your moms got really close. And she started coming around. So one day, she in the house cleaning up the red house. Her and Kim cleaning up the red house. And she gets to where my room is at. And she goes to make up the bed and everything for me. Mind you, she started being with Kim. Kim used to say, y'all, you know, if we gonna help you, you gotta pay us. So I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't care. So, you know, they cleaning up the house and shit, because I used to always clean the house out 6 o'clock in the morning. I used to shut down. I never used to sell nothing after that. 6 o'clock in the morning, I shut down, mop and sweep the building, because it's a brownstone. So you always have to clean. You have to clean your curb and dump your garbage, or that's a ticket. So I'm like, yo, y'all can help me. This. And they're like, yeah. So They spent like all day, you might say spring cleaning, mopping the house from top to bottom. Mind you, the house got three floors, 12 bedrooms, 4 kitchens, and in a thing, because they had kitchens in the room. They had kitchens on the 3rd floor and a kitchen in like 2 of the rooms that was there. Plus we had a kitchen in the basement. They had 4 kitchens and 2 bathrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That house was dumb big and 12 bedrooms. So they cleaning out all the joints. Mind you, I'm getting the house redone. I'm getting it painted. I'm getting electrical wires and everything. New doors. And she came around the corner. She found like damn near, and she'll tell you she found like $2,000 wrapped up in my sheet. Where somebody, you know how when somebody give you some money and you tuck it under your mattress?
Right, and you probably forget.
Yeah, but it wasn't even under the mattress. It was in the sheet. You know how when you laying on top of your sheet and you go to tuck it, and it's like you tucking the sheet in?
Right.
So when she took the sheet off the mattress, the money fell out. But it was so crazy because I was getting so much money, I didn't even realize I was missing $2,000. I was around the corner with all my niggas on the corner, sitting there. And she was like, Charlie, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, what's good? She was like, nah. Can I talk to you for a second? I don't want to talk to you right here. So we had a Chinese restaurant right there on 132nd Street and 7th Avenue. So I said, all right, come on, let's go in here. You know what I'm saying? And when she dug in her pocket and handed it to me, it was $2,000. I said, where was this at? She said, oh, it was in the sheet in your bed. And I didn't let her know that I didn't know it wasn't there.
Okay.
You understand? You know, because I wasn't a trusting dude either. So I was like, oh, thank you. But in my mind, I'm like, how the fuck I put that there? But I knew that she was being honest. You understand what I'm saying?
That was dope. That was real dope of her to do that.
I went in there, took that shit out. When I counted it out and seen what it was, I counted out a couple of hundred. I was like, here. She was like, what's that for? I said, nah, just for thanks.
Honesty.
And after that, she's like, let's go to One Fish, Two Fish. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go to One Fish, Two Fish. She's like, let's go here. But she was real picky about what she ate. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, man, whatever, cool. She was like, come on, let's go shopping. I used to take everybody in the joint shopping. I was like, you coming? She was like, yeah, I'm coming. Because after a while, she was just always over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You call me? All right. Wait, give me 5 seconds, wait.
Go ahead, man. Do what you got to do real quick. All the listeners that's listening, I appreciate everyone that's listening so far. Again, if you got any questions to ask this man, any feedback, feel free to send a voice note, asking any questions or feedback. If you're enjoying this, please hit the clap button for the claps. That will totally help me. It'll also gain more listeners to anyone that's listening, the 2 listeners. Shout out to Britt and my boy I don't want to say Matt for still sticking around, being here. The talk time is an hour and 43 minutes, 52 seconds, and all that. So again, I appreciate everyone that's here still listening. Want to give this man a couple of a minute because I know he's doing something real quick. I got a couple of more questions to ask him before we end the show, and that's all.
I'm back, man. You know, quick intro, intermission, whatever, man. But I'm back.
All right, so now that you done done all of this, tell me about. I don't know if you was there with the raid situation, but how did that happen?
You know, I had been in a couple of raid situations, right, where I walked out of there with just like a smack on the arm. But this one was different. I had started, you know, when I lost the house on 31st, the brownstone, just, you know, a lot of different things started to change. Like I wound up, you know, we wound up having Alyssa, you know, and things just got real different real quick. Like I really had a responsibility, and I was starting, you know, to get real conscious, you know. But as far as everything else, if you ever notice, like I've always kept y'all separate from over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, it sure
So
did.
so when your mom's tried to say, "Oh, it's because of you," Sean is the way, you know, Sean does make the decisions he
Nah,
make because
that's
I
bullshit.
said, no, you can't put that on me because even when I did what I did, I always encouraged school.
You sure did. And Sean was always a smart dude.
You know what I'm saying? So now when the raid situation happened in 2008, I didn't actually get caught in the raid, but I had over $120,000. You might say like over $120,000 worth of crack in my man's house.
Shit.
And whatever happened, you know, I found out later that he made a sale outside. And that's why they was able to get the warrant. Once they seen he was active, they was able to get the warrant to go in the house. The first time they went in there, they didn't find nothing because we had everything in stash cans, like soda bottles, bleach containers, and we really had the shit sitting with, like, if it was in a bleach container, it was in the bathroom with all the comment and Windex and all that shit. So, you know, the police look right past that shit. They ain't really paying attention to a bleach bottle, but it was a stash can. You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
We had like soda cans in the refrigerator, like Pepsis and shit, full with like packs and packs of crack, and the shit looked like a case of soda. So we was able to walk away from that one. You know what I'm saying? When they came back again, almost a month later.
Wow.
No, I'm lying. Yeah, almost a month later.
They were determined. They knew somebody was in there. They just couldn't find it.
Yeah. Whatever happened, you know, he always say, "Oh, one of the bitches that used to work for you did this and did that." You know, he never wanted to own up that he did something outside that he wasn't supposed to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they had him dead right. They didn't catch him on sale, but they had an observation. You understand what I'm saying? Of him passing somebody something outside. And I knew they wasn't lying. You know what I'm saying? So I wound up getting picked up for a ticket that I caught. We had a situation with Alyssa, and I don't know if it was Sean, if I was dropping Sean off to Soraya's house or whatever. But I know I had just pulled off. And was coming out of 23rd Street in Lexington. And the light turned red. So I heard them try to make the left turn. So they wouldn't hit me with running the light. And instead of giving me a ticket, he gave me a disappearance ticket. That's when you got to come to court. And that's when it's a violation, because at that point they take points off your licenses.
License, yeah.
Mind you, now later on, I got all the money in the world. The ticket wound up being $128.
That's nothing for you.
But they put my court date so far back, I couldn't just go pay it. I had to wait until my court date. You understand what I'm saying?
Which is fucking bad. I don't know why the fucking system is like that, but continue.
Yeah. They said, you got a court date, this. So I'm thinking, damn, I could just go pay the shit. But no, I had to wait for the court date. But they put the court date back so far that it left my mind. Wound up getting a warrant. So one day I'm in the building. I ain't got nothing on me, but I just made a sale, you know, to the people that used to be upstairs, whatever. On the first and the third, they used to have damn near 50 people in that house. And everybody in there got a check and everybody smoked crack. So I knew on the first, my first $1,000 was coming from that house. You understand what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I goes up there, drop off because it was 3 packs, dropped off 3 packs to them. They gave me the money, boom, boom, boom. And I'm coming out of the apartment. As soon as I'm coming out of the apartment, this cop named Redbeard was there. Now, Redbeard is a wolf. He done locked up everybody in St. Nick Projects. This nigga's a savage. He really on some movie shit. He be on the roof looking at the binoculars and shit at niggas. Yeah, he
Chuck Norris type shit.
They call the nigga Redbeard, and then you got some people call the nigga Super Dave because his name is David Wendell. Super Dave. Right? I'm coming out the apartment. He arrested me, took me to the precinct, whatever. He like, oh, you know, da-da-da. I'm like, he said, you got a warrant. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking I'm just going to go downtown and pay it. But while they got me in custody, they took that time to get the warrant to go into the house.
Ooh.
So now when they run in the house, they go in the house with a sledgehammer and dogs. They start smashing up everything, food cans, everything.
And they found everything probably from there.
And because they was breaking up everything, you know, they had vegetables all over the place because not all that shit was stash cans. That shit was real food. Vegetables and shit all over the cabinets and shit. You know what I'm saying? So they wound up finding it, whatever. Now I'm in the precinct. I was in the precinct for so long, I had dozed off. When I woke up, I see that they got my guy. So I look up, I'm like, what the fuck you doing here, man? I'm lost for time. I done dozed off, woke up, and I see
him.
this niggas. Yeah, so I'm like, what the fuck? Now in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck happened? He like, yo, they ran up in the house. So after sitting there, you know, a while or whatever, he asked, you know, he says he wants to speak to me. So I'm like, all right, cool. I speak to the nigga. You know, I asked the cop, can I go in there and talk to him? They let me speak to him. He tells me straight up and down, yo, Charlie, I can't do it. They found everything. Money, drugs, everything. And it was almost, put it like this. I had almost 100,000 in crack. And then I had enough paraphernalia to bag up another 2 bricks. Later on, they gave me 5 years just for empty baggies. I still got my paperwork, what they charged me with, A1 felonies.
Wow.
Right? Mind you, before that, my runner, I didn't actually make the sales myself, but one of my runners had me come to her mother's house, and they had a whole bunch of people in there getting high. One of them niggas happened to be a fucking undercover agent, right? So I wound up getting caught. What got me all the time was I wound up getting caught in a secret indictment.
Damn.
Yeah, with this agency called FIST. FIST is an agency. It's like the FBI, and they work with the city and the state drug enforcement, because it's called federal. I forgot what it stands for, but it's FIST. But it's abbreviated. You know what I'm saying? But it's called FIST. But I know it's like Federal something Task Force. Special Task Force. It's like Federal Investigation Special Task Force.
But did they slap you with after all them charges and after everything?
Well, I didn't get rearrested for the secret indictments until almost a year later, right? They was only, for the work that they found in the house, right? They was only trying to give me 3 to 6, right? Because I was a
Right.
first-time offender plus nonviolent, right? They tried to give me the 3 to 6.
I hear you.
They came. I was in the Beacon because Soraya came to see me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they transferred me to the Beacon to some shit called GMD building, GDMC. I can't remember how that shit go, but it's a correctional joint in there. And them niggas was trying to first they was trying to give me 6 years, and then when they came when the Fed niggas came to rearrest me for the secret indictment, that shit went from 6 to 20 years.
Whoo, shit.
They wanted to give me 15 years for the 6 direct sales, right? Because I sold them 6 ounces.
Damn.
I made 6 sales for 6 half ounces, right? I got it on my paperwork, right? And they was just like, with your current charges and this and that, these are all A1 felonies. They hold and with the amount of drugs and paraphernalia you got caught, that's automatically 15 years, right? That's automatically 15 years plus 5 years supervision. Nigga said, but if you tell me what I want to know, you can go back to doing what you want to do, and we'll give you probation. I said, what? Nigga said, tell me what you know, and we'll give you probation. Lay one on everything I love. I told him, I said, you know the difference between me and anybody else you ever brought back here? He was
Right.
like, what? I said, I already accepted what it is you're going to do. I'm not telling you nothing. Suck my dick.
Damn.
The DA was like, that's crazy how you talking. We trying to help you. I said, no, you're not trying to help me. You're not trying to help me. I said, miss, I've already accepted whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. But I'm not telling you nothing. Then they
Right.
went on to try to tell me, a lot of people that spoke about me and this and that. And when I got to court, I realized they didn't lie. Because after they rearrested me, they had to rearraign me. That means they had to charge me all over again and take me back to arraignment court. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And after they did that, they sent me back, denied me bail. My man was going to bail me out. Right? My bail at the time was $250,000. My man said he had me, but when I went back to court like a week later, they remanded me. Now, when you get remanded, not only do you can't be bailed out, you can't even get a job on the island.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
whack.
now I'm like, damn, I'm going to be here a minute.
I'm gonna be
You know
here
what
a
I'm
minute.
saying?
What was the experience like in the system when you was locked up?
I'm not in no gang and none of all that shit, so it really didn't mean nothing to me. I was in there just mostly watching and just paying attention. I think I might have had maybe one situation while I was in there. A nigga asked me, was I blood or Crip? Because when I got locked up, I had this Anichi shirt on that was like royal blue, white, and gray. And he was like, yo, you a hardback? I said, what? He said,
What the fuck?
you a hardback? You brim? You this? I got immediately annoyed. I said, first of all, bro, don't ask me nothing. You don't know me. Secondly, I don't know what none of that shit you talking about. He said, nah, you blood or Crip? I said, bro, I don't bang. I don't do none of that. He was like, oh, nah, I'm just asking, man, you got on blue, this and that, this and this and that. I said, bro, listen, I don't know nothing about none of that. Went through the system, whatever. And they want to
Any
put me in the house, huh?
any fights while you was in there?
Nah,
That's
no
good. That's
fights.
good.
No, never had no situation. Lewan, most people get caught up trying to be down. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't claiming no sets. I wasn't befriending nobody in there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing none of that. And while I was in there, I was a different nigga. I was on some, don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you. Do not play with me. That's what type of time I was on. You know what I'm
Damn.
saying?
Damn.
But I started hustling while I was in there.
So you were still making money while you was in there. I mean, you probably was. Mean like hustling, like how, like selling some of your commissary and all that, or you was
Nah.
just doing the drug thing.
When I got in there, my sister them used to give me money and shit, but when I got locked up, I had crazy tickets on the cars, like all type of shit was happening. So they used to send me money like every other month, like every other week. So I used to have to stretch it. But I wound up getting cool with a nigga who used to do garbage in there. They was like, yo, you want to do garbage? You want to help me with the garbage? I'm like, yeah, help me with the garbage. You can't smoke cigarettes on the island. What a nigga was doing was, the gloves that they put on for food?
Yeah.
Nigga had a whole handful of those that he took from the kitchen. I don't know how he got it, whatever, but he had a whole thing of those, right? The nigga said, I'm going to do garbage. I went with the nigga to do garbage one day. And now we sweeping up the police locker room and we sweeping up outside. Mind you, this is considered contraband. You go to the box for that. He said, yo, put all the cigarettes in here and boof them. So I'm picking up all the cigarette butts. I'm watching this nigga pick up all the cigarette butts. When we get back to the dorm, he's like squeezing all the tobacco out of the cigarette butts and putting them in the glove. Right? And he's putting tobacco in the 5 fingers of the gloves and then twisting them and making them like pouches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how much each finger? He like $10 a finger. I'm like, what? He said $10 a finger. So the days that I didn't do garbage with the nigga, I was doing the same thing, picking up all the cigarette butts. But guess what I was selling my fingers for? $2.
$2. Wow. $2.
Niggas was making $50 off a fist. I was making $10 off a fist. Think about it. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't care about that.
You
I
didn't
didn't
care
smoke.
about that. Shit.
Niggas is doing what they doing because they trying to take care of their habit and make money.
Right. Shit. This dude selling it for $5. I can get it for $2. I'm gonna go to the dude for $2.
Yeah, the niggas was selling their fists for $50. 5 fingers is $50 worth of tobacco. With me, it was $10, $15. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is like, yo, how much you selling your fingers for? I'm like, $2. They's like, for real, you smoke? I'm like, nah. Niggas said, yo, listen, man, I got you. After that, I started having like mad seafood, mad oodles and noodles, mad cookies, mad everything.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you with that. You was making some bread.
Yo, and I kept doing it. And then what happened is they wound up switching me. Right? After they switched me, they got this shit where they rate you from like 28 to something, and 28 is real bad. You understand what I'm saying? I forgot what it is. So my classification dropped.
Let me cut you off real quick. We got a voice note from a guest. Let me play that.
Mad seafood and mad oodles and noodles.
Yo, what up, Court? That's Courtney right there. That's my mom's friend. That's Court.
What up, Courtney?
I told her that I told her that I was going to be doing this show and she was going to tune in. So, yo, Courtney, I want to just say thank you for tuning in and all that. I appreciate you for all of that. But you can continue.
You know what I'm saying? So I had mad tuna fish. mad shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, and, you know, but it's all new to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a lovable guy. You know, I get money. I'm not on the rowdy shit that these niggas is on. I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm
feel
getting
you.
money. I'm moving around. Now, you know, everybody's starting to know me. You know, so one of my niggas made me a shirt. He used to do characters. But this nigga was the big homie in the house. The nigga drew me some Snoopy shit on a shirt. And on the bottom of it, he put 550. So I asked him, I said, what's that? He said, nigga, you neutral. You not banging. So every time I wore that shirt through the jail, niggas would be like, oh, you neutral? Yeah. They be like, oh, you good on this side. Never had a problem. Then niggas, yo, lady, shit was so real. Right? I started, and on Rackus Island, they separate the Bloods and the Crips. Like, the Bloods and the Crips, the Bloods is on evens, and the Crips is on the odds. The funny thing is, the Crips, even though the Bloods outnumbered the Crips, and the Crips is considered dirty niggas and all that, they was living better than the Blood niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Probably because of the capacity. I'm just guessing.
Yo, I don't even know, man, but it was just crazy in there. So now I'm moving through the jail. You know, like I said, I'm doing garbage. So now I knew on certain days I would be in, say, 17 Upper. That's a Crip house. These niggas used to be like, yo, you got any fingers? Next time you come, bring me some fingers. I got something for you. Yo, Lay, I used to get these joints, make them joints. When them niggas when my classification dropped and they moved me out of the whole building, they moved me to a whole nother building. And once they moved me out of that building and my classification dropped and I went back to court, I was able to work again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which is dope.
Yeah, because at this time I had been on the island a year. You know, I ain't have no bad record. I wasn't getting no tickets. I wasn't fighting nothing. So when my classification, but they still put me in the house with niggas that was serving life. All these niggas had bodies. You know what I'm saying? So now they put me there. So the niggas say, oh, we need people to help in the kitchen. Who want to be a kitchen worker? I signed up for the kitchen worker. You know what I'm saying? Started going down there. I used to work from 5 to 1. They lay. I started bringing it because we was eating what they served you on the line versus what the cooks was eating was totally different.
Totally different.
We was eating like we was in the street. You know what I'm saying? So now, one day, the captain let me take some chicken upstairs that we made. We used to make the barbecue sauce and bake the chicken. Like after we would serve all the inmates, it would be like more chicken on a pan. We would take the chicken legs, make some barbecue. Like these niggas showed me how to make the barbecue sauce from scratch. We would get the tomato paste, the vinegar, the mustard, the sugar, the jelly. We would dump a whole bunch of jelly inside a pan and throw it in the oven and let it melt until it's like a liquid.
Right.
Till it's like a syrup. And we would get sugar, mustard, tomato paste, have a little vinegar, and then we put a whole bunch of, I had a bucket that we used to dip for the seasoning, for the chicken. It had all the seasoning mixed in. It didn't matter. And I used to get that shit and put it inside the fucking pan and mix all that shit up. It was like honey barbecue chicken with a spice. And we put that shit back on the chicken and throw it back in the oven for like 5 minutes.
Like a hickory smoked chicken.
Yo, Lay, even now, I'll be ready to make that jail chicken. For real. We used to put the chili pepper, black pepper, a little bit of salt, fucking jerk chicken powder, garlic powder, onion powder. We used to put all that in there with a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And used to give it that fire like that. Not too salty, because we didn't put a lot of salt in there. But that seasoning that we put together, that onion, that garlic, that turmeric, all that shit was, oh my God. And then we put the jelly with the mustard and everything, mix it together with the tomato sauce and throw it in the oven, let it heat up, get real dark and thick, and then put that shit on the chicken, make barbecue chicken. Throw it back in there, lay. One time I came upstairs, I was like, damn, what am I eat? But I already knew that I had commissary upstairs. I knew I had the minute rice with the oodles and noodles and the fish and shit, but I was like, I'm gonna see if it's gonna be an issue with me taking some of this chicken upstairs. So me and all the niggas that worked in the same dorm put like 3 or 4 pieces of chicken a piece inside the glove and went upstairs with the shit in our pocket. So now it's time to eat dinner. I go in my bucket to take out the chicken that I made from the
kitchen.
From the kitchen. So I put that shit in there. Niggas is like, what's that you eating? I'm like, nah, we made barbecue chicken. Nigga said, word. Let me try that, Charlie Rock. I let the nigga try. Nigga said, yo, I'll give you $5 worth of snacks right now for that joint. I'm like, you gonna give me $5? Because in my mind, I said, you gonna give me $5 for some free chicken? Nigga said, yo, listen. If you can bring me some chicken up every time you come, when commissary come, mind you, these niggas were serving life, but these niggas was living in there, like. These niggas still walking around with their earrings in their ear, crazy crossed out, watches, commissary crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Like these niggas was really living in there. So I'm like, and mind you, they didn't have a limitation on the commissary. You can spend almost $100. So these niggas was spending like $100 every week on commissary. That's a lot of commissary, like, right? So I'm like, oh, all right. I started bringing this nigga up that shit. Next thing you know, he let other niggas taste it. Yo, I gave this nigga he said, yo, I just gave this nigga $10 worth of shit for 2 chicken legs barbecued out. Nigga said, word. Next thing you know, like, I started fronting. We used to have like the beef cubes and like the chicken cubes, like when they used to make their steak. We'll put some of the fucking beef cubes aside. Get some onions and like green peppers and onions and shit. Throw that shit in the barbecue sauce. Take a handful of them cubes and put them in the gloves too. Take that shit upstairs.
Oh, man.
I did that all the way until the time I got sentenced. I did that all the way. I was selling tobacco, chicken, and chopped chicken and beef. Barbecue out the motherfucking kitchen. And when I tell you I was living extra good on out, and then let me tell you what else so crazy. I got good penmanship. So when I used to write y'all, niggas like, yo, damn, Charlie, can you write that for me for my girl? So niggas used to pay niggas to draw certain shit. And then they used to pay niggas that had real good handwriting to their wives and shit. So niggas say, yo, Charlie, man, yo, I'll give you $2 if you rewrite this letter for me in script. I said, what? Nigga said, yeah, man. He said, look at my handwriting, man, and look at yours, man. He said, yo, you'll do it for me? They want us, niggas ask me to they write their letters and tell me what they wanted to say, and I'll rewrite it for them in script.
Wow.
That shit was the easiest $2 in the world. I said, yo. And you only allow 1 bucket. I had 2 buckets full of shit. And couldn't, and when it came time for me to leave, to go, when I wound up getting sentenced and shit, I had this big ass garbage bag full of fucking food that I had to leave to somebody. Because they don't let you take it on the bus. Like, they don't let you take no more than a bucket. So once I got sentenced and I got to the adolescents, because when you get sentenced, you got to go to the adolescent house for the bus to come take you upstate. Once I got to the adolescent house, I had to leave some of my food in there. But then when I got to the adolescent house, I wound up being in there with my cousin. Soraya know my cousin. Wound up, he was the CEO of the house.
Mm.
He was the CEO of the house, and I was in there with mad niggas from my project. So when them niggas was getting sentenced and leaving, they was like, yo, Charlie, you got such and such. I'm like, nah, niggas said, here, man, take all this shit. Niggas leave me, and they might have just went to fucking commissary. They leave me all their shit. I'm telling you, lay man, like, some people really have it bad in there, but I'm just gonna say, because of the type of person that I am, I guess I didn't experience all that shit that a lot of other people experience. Like, that's not my experience. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
You know, but then when I got in there, I went back to school too.
I'm glad that you did, because remember you was just saying earlier that you didn't get to finish. So now that
Yeah.
you're back in school.
So when I got in there, right, I wasn't going to be there long enough to do the GED program, but I was long enough to do, like, they had this shit, they had where they had people from doing construction come in and teach classes. So you can get like, I got a certificate in plastering, mold and remediation. Then I got another certificate for gardening and landscaping. Like, I can really do a nigga's whole front lawn.
That's good, because you could take that shit from what you was doing out in there to the world out there and make you money. Even
Hey,
open up
Lay,
a company.
let me tell you what's crazy. I didn't even know that jail offered them type of programs, because so
Jail
many niggas.
offers a lot of programs for a lot of people, man. I don't want to lie to the listeners, to the people that's listening. I know quite a few people that got locked up and
Came back out the same way they went in, right?
came back out the same way, or came back and got put into a better position where they making more money than me on a 9 to 5. I'm like, how?
Hey, Lay, I'm telling you, I didn't even know that they had these programs, because a lot of niggas that I know was in jail. And mind you, a lot of niggas I know was doing shit like 49. How you do all them years and come out and still can't read? Like, I don't understand that when they offering these educational programs. Like, the first thing you got, like, when you get sentenced and go upstate, the first thing they ask you, if you got your diploma. If you don't got your diploma, they make you go to school. If you don't go to school, they put you in the box.
Mm.
So when I'm seeing niggas that I know been locked up at least 3 years, 4 years, and they come home and don't have a diploma, I'm confused.
Niggas rather go to the box.
You know, they up there banging, you know what I'm saying? They up there doing all the wrong shit. See, me, when I got arrested, one thing my mom's always taught me when I got arrested, she said, listen, just because you get arrested, the game don't stop. Now you got to get yourself out.
Facts.
So the first thing I did was start educating myself. So I was hustling and taking all these workshops. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got sentenced and I got upstate, I went back to horticulture and landscaping and started working on small engines. Small engines is like dirt bikes, lawnmowers, wind blowers, shit like that. All those is small engine. Dirt bikes,
That's tough.
motorcycle, like, yeah, little motorcycles, like
Right.
like
Probably
250
probably
motorcycles.
scooters and stuff.
Yeah, those are small engines. I started working on that lawn motors, because in my mind I said, if I can't, when I come home, if I don't do nothing else, I'm just gonna go. I'm going to motherfucking Home Depot. That was my plan. I'm going to Home Depot. You know what I'm saying? I know how to use all these fucking tools. I know small engines. I know landscaping, and I know gardening one. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I can do that. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm already planning on what I'm gonna do, because I already knew in my mind I had an 18-year run. I'm not gonna come home and be able to do that again. And I'm not gonna be one of the niggas that keep going to jail. I looked at it like this. I made a lot of money. I had a lot of fun. I'm not going back. It's not going, because either two things that's gonna happen, Lewan. Niggas, you think after me being gone all them years, I'm gonna come home and a nigga that's been on that corner gonna let me come home and fuck his money up?
Hell no.
That's my mind. You know what I'm saying?
You lost it. Now the next nigga's gonna take over.
You know what I'm saying? So I know for me to come home and think that I'm gonna do what I've been doing ain't gonna happen. Either I'm going to jail or I'm gonna have a problem with a nigga and I might have to hurt him to keep him from hurting me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the reality of that. You know, so I said, you know what? So when I got sentenced, made it up top, after they placed me and moved me into a jail, what I was gonna do, I met a nigga up there. Nigga said, what are you gonna do? Oh, I ain't never say that. They gave me 11 years. They sentenced me 11 years. 6 plus 5, right? But let me tell you how that went about. When they took me to court and rearranged me, the judge pulled out all the statements that was written against me. I had 8. So the DA, so the Fed nigga didn't lie when he told me that. You understand? I had 8 statements against me when I got up there. So now the DA is like, Your Honor, you know, such and such and such. I don't care what his record shows. You know, he's a nonviolent. He's a first-time offender. I don't care. But he's basically kingpin status. I fell under the kingpin status, even though I didn't have, but the reputation that I built in the street put me in that category. You understand what I'm saying?
Got you.
Because like I said, they've been chasing me for a long time, but they can never catch me.
They can never catch you.
Yeah. And one day one of the cops said, wherever Charlie Rock is at, is crack. Now let me tell you what's even more crazy, they want. As much drugs as I sold. You know how many people never even knew I sold drugs? Because I was never the one to flaunt it. Like, you know how many people didn't even know I drank? Because I've never drank outside. I never hung in clubs.
Never showed it.
Yeah. I was never flamboyant like that. They always saw me coming and going. You understand what I'm saying? I was always respectable. So when them police took me out, it looked like, you ever go to a Yankee game?
Right.
They had the whole fucking project surrounded like I was a terrorist. That's when a lot of people realized I sold drugs. A lot of people never knew I sold drugs because one, I only came out after night, after dark. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of elderly people and everybody that work is not outside past 9 o'clock, unless it's the summertime and it's a weekend or it's a holiday or something. But most people that
payday.
Most people is not outside that late. So a lot of times they never saw me. You understand what I'm saying? And if they saw me, they never actually saw me dealing. So that was one of the DA's arguments. I don't care. He's this, he's that. And the judge said, Mr. Struthers, I got 8 statements around here and we got pictures.
Jeez.
Listen, I'm going to offer you this 6 plus 5 right now. And I'm going to give you some time to think about it. So I'm thinking 6 for 5, that's 11 years. Okay, 11 flat. But he going to give me some time to think about it, right? You listening, Lay?
I'm listening.
So I'm saying, all right, so I get to go back to jail, call my sister and them and let them know what the offer is, right? Like, that was not the case. He said, listen, I'm going to let them send you back in the pen and behind the court. And I'm going to call you back out in 10 minutes. Later, nigga gave me 10 minutes to decide if I was going to take the 11 years or not. 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes.
I'll take the 11 for $450.
Later, I said, I'll take it. When I looked in the back, my sister Missy started crying. She's like, oh my God, 11 flat. Oh my God. But like I had, you know what people didn't understand? I had already accepted the consequences. You understand what I'm saying? Like when I was in the streets, not one time did I ever think that I was gonna walk away.
You already knew the consequences was gonna come with it if you
I
got caught or
accepted it.
whatever happened.
And I wrote the statement on myself. You know, everybody was mad at my man because they was like, oh, that's fucked up. You know, you must have talked. Nah, once he told me he couldn't handle it, I asked to speak to the arresting officer. And guess who the arresting officer was?
Miss
Redbeard.
Crawley. Great big. Oh.
Redbeard.
Okay.
Yeah, the nigga that been chasing me for years. So he said, what you gonna do? I was sitting there. You see how me and you talking? Me and this nigga was in the back of the precinct for like an hour and a half, just having a casual conversation. He said, yo, you is one of the realest niggas I ever met since I've been locking niggas up. I asked him, why is that? He said, cause I hear how you always take care of your people. And even now, you get ready to take care of them again. You get ready to take the charge for everybody. I said, because it's mine. He said, listen, man, I know for a fact every last one of these people made a lot of money with you. So you're going to tell me that they can help spend the money, but they can't do the time?
Some niggas
Now
ain't built for that.
But he was trying to psychologically fuck with me. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right. I get it. I see it. I'm painting the picture all in my head. Like if I'm there.
You know, so he's sitting there and he's trying to create this feeling in me. But what he didn't understand was I appreciated him telling me he couldn't do it versus him going through the system. And then when I look up, he pointing me out. You understand?
Got you.
Because you got to understand, at that moment, it was self-preservation. You ever heard that term before?
No, can you explain that to me, please?
Self-preservation is when you doing what's best for you. Now, if I had not decided to step up and take the charges
Probably
and say
got more
everything was
time.
mine, I would have fucked around and just be coming home now. Versus coming home, versus being let go in 2015. You understand what I'm
Smart.
saying?
I was smart.
Mind you, late one, like I told you, I'm already thinking about coming home. I'm already thinking about how I'm gonna get home. And you know how I got the early program home? Because when David Patterson was governor, I wrote David Patterson and said they gave me a harsh sentence because I wouldn't snitch. Now, he didn't change my sentencing, but he put me in a program where I can do my time on the street.
Wow.
Remember when I came home, I was on work release.
Right. You sure was.
That's how I got work release, through David Patterson. Right? But let me explain to you. Now that I'm upstate, the first thing I do is I start going to the library. Right? So I'm getting to the library. I meet a nigga in there. He like, listen, man, this is what you need to do, da-da-da-da. So now I'm starting to write every Sunday. I get to send out, every week I get to send out 5 letters for free through Law Library. So I'm writing everybody, right? But I didn't make the jail so nervous, they violating my constitutional rights by opening up my mail. See, they can open up mail that come from y'all, but they're not allowed to read my legal mail. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But like I told you, when I got up there, I started educating myself. So when I got up there, I met a dude. He happened to be a drug counselor while he was in jail. He said, listen, you got a lot of guys that you coming through and this and this and that, this and that. You know, just basically explaining to me that I can use my life experience for my career. He gave me a fresh perspective, right? and Home Depot went the fuck out the window. You understand?
I feel you.
He told me I can get paid to tell my story.
Wow.
Ain't that some shit?
That's deep.
I said, say that again. He said, you can get paid to tell your story. You got dudes that's coming for this. He said, cooks are in demand, drug counselors are in demand, and they all background friendly. Now, when he say background friendly, they don't care if you ever been arrested or not. They don't care if you ever been to jail. That's what background friendly is. And he said you need to pick a realistic occupation for what you want to do when you go here. Don't think you're going to come through here and go home and get this job doing anything else, because your felony is going to block a lot of the things you think you want. You understand?
Sure is.
So when he told me I can be a drug counselor, only thing I got to do is take the workshop and get paid to tell my life story. And then when he told me how much he got paid, I was really with it. He said I make $120,000 a year to tell my story. I said, say that again. He said, but it takes a lot of work and it's a journey. But if you put that time in, you can be where I'm in right now one day. I said, so what I need to do? He said, you need to take some of these workshops, and he pointed them out. He said, but first get your GED. I had already knew I had to get the GED anyway, because when state gave me my program when I got upstate, they give you a program. You work and you go to school. Right? If you already got your diploma, then you take a trade and work. You understand?
Right, like barber, like becoming a barber or something like that.
Yeah. So I started talking to this dude, and he was like, "Listen, you want to pass your GED? Read 2 books a week. The GED is based on reading comprehension and spelling. I don't care what the subject is, whether it's math, science, English, writing, is based on speed and reading comprehension, because even the math is in word problems on the GED. Mind you, now I'm in there reading books, right? Your mother used to always try to get me to read books. She used to always say, I don't go to the movies. I'd rather read the books. I never understood that. But then when I got locked up, reading became my thing. Like, well, now I'm reading like 4 and 5 books a month. I read the whole Twilight series, and each book is 1,000 pages.
It's a good movie too.
Yeah. But you see how they made it 5 movies? You see how they made it 5 parts, but it's really only 4. But the books is so thick, you can't put all of that in the movies. You understand?
Right.
So they had to figure out how to cut it down and still make a good movie. But them books is 1,000 pages each. I read the whole series. Then you ever heard of Alex Cross?
Yeah.
He got a whole book series. He got like 20 books of that series. The Alex Cross series is like 20 books. I started reading all of those. Next thing you know, I was just reading just to be reading, because I wasn't a TV person. Only time I went in the day room was to look at football on Sundays. Other than that, I was never in the day room. You understand? So when it came time to take the GD, I passed it the first go around. Boom. Next you know, I went and took this to be an HIV/AIDS facilitator. Now, I can counsel HIV/AIDS because it's the same information. You understand? The only difference is that I can't refer nobody to anything. You understand?
I understand.
So I got that. That was the first one I snatched. HIV/AIDS facilitator, counselor. First snatched that one. Then after that, I snatched up a few other joints. Went to this shit called ASAP. It's just like KSAP, but it's a program you go through. I went through all that, got all that bullshit. Then when I came home, I took all the other workshops once I got released. But how I got home, I wrote David Patterson and told him, I said, listen, I'm a first-time offender, right? Non-violent. And I believe I've been judged harshly because I wouldn't tell, because I wouldn't snitch. I wouldn't cooperate, right? I said, I'm in here with that's facing manslaughter with lesser charge than me. What I didn't realize is that you get more time for drugs than you actually do for shooting a motherfucker half of the time, depending on the circumstances.
It's crazy.
Right? Because the only thing they got to prove is that it was manslaughter. Because you get, I think, you get 8 to 10 years for manslaughter. You get 8 years, you come home in 7 or 6. You get 10, you come home in 8. But I was in there with niggas that had multiple gun charges, assault with niggas' bodies, and being charged with manslaughter coming home before me. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I put that all in my letter. But the most important part that I put in my letter was I had no jail tickets. 2, I put everything that I accomplished in my 5 years of being incarcerated. One day I'm walking on the yard, Laywan, right? Because you're not if you're not allowed to walk on prison grounds once you're being transferred. Because if something happened to you, you can get sued. Like my sister and them could have sued the city. So I'm walking. After I wrote the letter, I never really heard nothing back. But at the same time, I started looking up at all these government grants and shit. So I'm reading these type of books. You ever see that commercial? I don't know, remember it, but they had a guy that used to wear the commercial with the flashing question marks on the jacket like the Riddler.
Yeah.
And he used to say, oh, for this, if you can get this book for X amount of dollars, such and such, and they help you get all the grants. Yeah. They had that book in there. Now, on the street, that book costs $500. In jail, we get it for free. But we get to rent it. You understand? Because it's telling you all the things that you're eligible for that we don't know about. You understand? Government grants and shit and loans that we are eligible for. And
shit
a lot
that they
of
don't teach in school.
Yeah. They not teach that in school. You know, but because I stayed in the library, Lele, I believe in 1 year, you got 12 months. 12 times 4 is what, 48 books?
Yeah.
So I can say in my time that I was there, I read over 100 books since I was locked up. Because I started reading 2 books a week. I was just going through them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't look at TV. And when I was in the yard, I started going to the yard. And that's how I wound up losing the weight. When I got locked up, I was 275. I came home 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Just from exercising and walking the yard and changing my diet. And like I said, I just did a lot of reading. So that time that I was locked up, I read like 100 books. Because after a while, I was just knocking them down. I was reading damn near like 2 books a week. And I was doing shit like I was reading about Warren Buffett. You know, Kristen Garner, the dude from Pursuit of Happiness.
Right.
He wrote a book. I read his book on stocks. I read Warren Buffett book on stocks and shit. Like really understanding how that works. You know what I'm saying? For the record, I'm doing stocks now. You understand what I'm saying? I'm doing stocks now. I'm into that right now. I have that right now. You know, And Lay, I'm telling you, I just educated myself, and I came home on a whole new mindset. I had a whole new mindset. And my other mindset was, before I left, this old guy said to me, he said, you got all the tools you need to do whatever it is you want to do. Right? I was already thinking about writing my book. I was already thinking about doing a clothing line. These are all the things. Open up a nonprofit. These are all the things that I said I wanted to do. I wanted to get a mascot because I want to be able to visit sickly kids. You understand what I'm saying? Suffering with drug addiction, HIV, AIDS, and shit like that. Like, this was my mindset, but I had a journey, and I approached it aggressively. I didn't let nothing get in the way with that, and the only thing I was thinking about is I'm coming home to all of y'all, and I'm not going to be that dude that went in. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
I started praying more. You know what I'm saying? Just started praying more. Like, that was one of the other things I did too. Like, this what made me realize prayer work. Some people say dudes go to jail and get religion. Right? Old motherfuckers want to go to jail and turn.
Muslim and shit, or Christian
Yeah.
and all. Yeah.
Lay, but that's not the truth. Let me explain this to you. Don't let nobody ever tell you that stupid shit again. When people go to jail, you don't know what their situations are, right? Not everybody is fortunate to have a family out there. You know what I'm saying? And if they do got a family, depending on what their situation is, their family cut them off. And then they got no friends. They have no real support system. So they doing their time by themselves. Some niggas is in there right now, like, dying in jail alone. Never coming home, in the hospice house upstate. You know what I'm saying? They know they dying in there alone.
And their family
So,
don't care.
Sometimes they have done things that push their family away, and their family just wash their hands with them. Not everybody have a grandmother and grandfather like you that says, no matter what, I'm not going to quit on you. You understand?
You're right.
Some people after a while get tired, and then they get done off. They brush their hands. And now you got to hold that down. You understand what I'm saying? But I knew I didn't want to be that person dying in jail. I knew I didn't want to be that person coming back and forth. Once was enough. So I had this plan when I came home, and I just shot for it, and I dealt with it aggressively. And once he gave me that opportunity to come home early, because people don't know, even when I was on the streets in 2011, I was still up. If you looked on the computer for me, it would show that I was still upstate incarcerated. I was still in jail upstate. You know how many people tried to look for me? And when they saw me on the street, they was like, yo, I just looked in the computer for me. They say you locked up. I ain't even give them my information. I ain't had no conversation for them, because you don't need to know what I did to get home. In your mind, you thinking there's no way in the world I'm home. In your mind, the first thing you thinking is that I told on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, a lot of people is going to think that.
So I just distanced myself. But before I left that prison, before I got transferred to work release, this guy said, Charlie, I want you to remember one thing. When you get home, make sure that the people you around is quality people. Right? Look at the 5 closest people to you and see where they at. And if that's not where you want to be, you got to find you 5 more people to be around. He said, if you see your man outside, ask him what he doing. If he tell you he doing that same thing every day, if it ain't nothing like work and going to school and all that shit, and he telling you he gonna be sitting on this crate every day, because you got some niggas that's stupid, they'll tell you that, yo, I'm gonna be right here, be getting this money. He don't know that's a bad thing. You understand?
Right.
But you can't blame them for all they know. Because you can be hustling and still going to school. I wish when college was giving out that extended education, continuing education, meaning where they was allowing people who didn't have their diploma to do 3 and 4 years of college and earn their diploma while they earn their degree, I would have jumped on it. You understand?
Understand.
But I wasn't aware of that. So, but back to the point when I say when people tell you niggas go to jail to get religion, don't listen to that stupid shit. Sometimes people's circumstances are so bad and they so broken and hurt and angry and frustrated like I was in the inside. You trying to find peace. And sometimes you find that peace in the higher power. You find out praying on it work. You understand what I'm saying?
I believe you.
You find when you praying on something and positive things start to happen because now you pulling in that positive energy and you allowing yourself to be subjected to change and you start finding yourself around people that's going to help you deal with that. Because now what happens is you're in a whole new different community in jail. You ain't dealing with gang bangers and shit like that. You're dealing with these Muslims. You're dealing with these Christians. And these niggas is really on some, yo, bro, listen, I'm going to church on Friday. I'm going to listen to this nigga because what he telling me is inspirational. You understand what I'm saying? And what happens is when you find somebody that help you through that hell you in,
it's a big relief off your shoulders.
You start to find peace. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing is, sometimes you got to take responsibility. Like with me and you. Like when you told me your little thing you was going through and you was angry and this and that, the first thing I said was, Lay, take responsibility for the part you played in that. I was honest with you.
You was.
You understand? I'm not going to be that nigga on your side saying, man, fuck that bitch when I know in my heart you love and care about her. I'm not telling you that. I'm going to tell you something that you need to fix if you want that back. Bro, if you want that back, this is what you're going to have to do to get it. And even then, that may not work because you violated. You understand?
You're totally right.
So now I'm doing the work. You understand what I'm saying, baby? I'm doing the work. And I find myself around all these positive people. Like now they throwing me books to read. Yo, you ever read this? I'm like, nah, here, man, read that. Or inspirational shit, empowering shit. Like now I'm reading shit based on true stories. You understand what I'm saying? I'm educating myself. You know what I'm saying? How this started in here and how this happened. And like, just like people don't know them fucking machines that be in the laundromat. You know, the mob family from Philadelphia started those machines. They realized that they can get stuffed animals and shit from overseas for a quarter. You understand what I'm saying? So now they building these motherfucking machines and putting them in shit like outside the candy stores and outside the
laundromat and all that, or in front of the deli and all that.
Yeah, with that stupid long ass claw. But it's rigged. But it's rigged because it's not that nobody never wins. It's after they get a certain amount of quarters. Because it's based on a scale, but nobody don't know that. Once that scale say 50 pounds, it allows somebody to win. You understand?
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's how it's rigged. It's like 1 out of 100 person win a prize. But you got some motherfuckers that then stood there and seen something that they won in that machine. They say, oh shit. Is that a $50 bill? You and 20 other niggas try to get that $50 bill. Stay there and put $5 in. Can you imagine by the time 20 motherfuckers didn't put their money in there just to win that $50 bill?
That shit they got have $100 in there now.
Yeah. But the people that made that machine is a mob family from Philadelphia came up with that. You understand? Because it's a form of gambling. It's like a slot machine.
Wow.
But I learned that through the reading. You understand? Like when I see certain shit, I know how it came about, how it, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But that was all through the reading, through reading while I was in there.
That's so dope, and that's very inspirational. So now that you're home and all that, and how has your wife been a big inspiration towards you? Because she's a great woman. I have met her. She's dope.
Let me tell you what Let me tell you what's so crazy, right? After everything I've been through, one thing I learned when I got locked up. You know another reason why when people don't realize this, when you go to jail and you get arrested, before you go in front of that judge, they got a thing called a pre-sentencing hearing, right? Before you even see the judge to get arraigned, you got this person that come out and ask you, do you go to school? Do you work? How long you been working? Where you live at? Do you live with your family? Do you have any kids? Are you with a mom? Right? All of these questions, people think it's stupid. Do you have an addiction? Do you drink? Do you smoke? You thinking to yourself, why the fuck they asking me all this stupid shit? This ain't got nothing to do with why I'm arrested. You understand?
Yeah.
But what they are determining or how they're gonna deal with you, because people that don't have no stability will continue to commit crime. If you have nothing that you're willing to change your life for, you're gonna keep committing crime.
Gonna keep doing it.
So when they ask you all these questions during pre-sentencing, it's called a pre-sentencing hearing, right? And this is before you even see the judge to get arraigned to be charged with what you charge it with. You having a pre-sentencing hearing. They gathering all this information up about you to determine or how they're going to deal with you. Right? Because they say people that have stability in their life, family, education, is more likely to not do this again. You understand?
I understand totally.
So
Absolutely
now it's about stability, right? So back to your question. When I came home, my first thing was, let me see because Alyssa was going to be the first daughter I raised out of all of my daughters. Right? So I knew I didn't want to fuck that package up again. Remember, I already went through it. So me going through it with my oldest daughters already let me know, one, I'm going to give her my last name. My other daughters had their mother's last name. Like I said, I never thought about it. Like I said, I wasn't thinking about none of that shit. My father died, just had kids. I was just like, listen, man, I named all of my daughters. They just didn't have my last name. You understand? Alyssa's the only daughter that has my last name. Because I learned from that mistake. You understand?
Right.
So I said, when I had Alyssa, I said I was going to do it different. Then I wound up getting arrested. And then when I came home, I said, I want something more. You know, and I said, I wanted to do the family thing. I was real animate about that. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe we can do this and we both clean. Meaning we not in the streets. We have a life-changing situation at hand. Maybe we can do it the right way now. No hustling, no drugs, no drinking, none of that nonsense. You know what I'm saying, Lay?
Understand.
But I wasn't given that opportunity because at that point, it was, oh, you did this to me. Fuck what people make the mistake of saying what you did to them without taking ownership of everything you took me through, all the hell you took me through.
All the shit they did.
right? So now I'm saying I'm home. I learned a lot since I was locked up. I bring more to the table than just hustling. Now, I was never no dumb nigga because I grew up in an educational family. So education, being educated and intelligent was never my problem. My problem was developing a skill and the tools that I needed to be successful. You understand? Now I have a fresh perspective on life. And I dealt with all the anger and everything of being locked up. I dealt with that too. When I left jail, I left all of that. When I came home, I said, this is what I'm gonna do, despite how hard or bad it get. You know what I'm saying, like? So I said, I don't need no more girlfriends.
Want a wife?
This was my thing. I want a wife. I want to raise my daughter. I want to give my daughter a life that my other daughters didn't have.
Have.
You know, I want her to be able to see what I was able to do with y'all for the time that I was in y'all life. You understand? Be able to do them same things with her. You understand what I'm saying? But show her something a little more. You know, because at this time, I'm 7 years older now. You understand? I'm coming home and I'm 7 years older than I was when I left you. So I'm trying to do all these things, and now it's like the plan ain't working because there's so much resentment and anger towards me. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is looking to blame the finger about what I did and what I could have did differently and this and that. And after a while, I just said, fuck it, and did something else. Now, I've known my wife all our life. We grew up in the same projects. Faith have it that, you know, because they said I couldn't live in Manhattan no more because I was labeled a menace and I could no longer live in Manhattan, right? I wound up moving with my sister. And that was rough because I've never lived with nobody ever since I was 19. But, you know, I dealt with some challenges with that. It's challenges with that because when you live with people, you got to deal with all the bullshit that they come with and their restrictions. And sometimes the way they live their life or go about things don't coincide with yours. You know what I'm saying? Your principles and values and stuff like that. So that was kind of rough, but I still made it work, you know. And one day my sister took me to my wife's house. She was like, yo, bro, we going now. It's Friday. Yo, you ain't got to sit up in the house. You know, because when I came home, I wasn't speaking. I really wasn't hanging with none of my friends. So I was always in the house by myself. Then I got introduced to Facebook. So I was always on Facebook and shit. And even then, I was still doing research, always on the internet, looking shit up. Shit that I used to research when I was in jail. Like that became a part of me, just always looking for the next best thing to get into. And my sister asked me to go with her to hang out. I went with her to hang out, and it was my wife's house. You know, we started, kicking it. Like I said, we known each other all our life. So we started kicking it, and one day a situation happened where she got upset with my sister and left my sister's house like 11 o'clock at night with her 1-year-old son. So, you know, me being who I am, I called. I'm like, yo, you good? Like, why you left like that? You know, then we started talking, and the conversation turned into a whole 3 hours. Mind you, I was in a train station on my way to Harlem to go see somebody. Never got the chance to go see him because our conversation got so real and deep. I didn't realize I was on 161st Street inside the train station, sitting on the step, talking
Just
to
talking to
her
her.
for 3 hours.
Wow, that's dope.
You know, and then after that, we started texting. I would be at work, she would text me, I would text her, and then it got real when she decided she wanted to get baptized again. So I was like, can I come? She was like, yeah. I went, and it was just on from there. We was just, and we just got closer and closer and closer. And 2015 came, we had a little situation where we separated for like a month. Well, I say a month and a half, you know, because my family just felt like, oh, how you gonna date your sister's friend and how you gonna do this? You know, everybody was so busy worrying about what I was doing. But the funny thing is, like, well, nobody ain't write me when I was locked up, and I wasn't mad about it. I didn't come home angry about it. I didn't care. I was just on, listen, I'm doing me, y'all doing
Next,
y'all.
right. You'll be all
You know,
right.
but I
Hold
wasn't,
it down.
yeah, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. You know, some people took it like, oh, Charlie ain't coming around. No. What I realized, in order for me to get my life back on track, I got to do what I need to do. And hanging with y'all ain't
Ain't
going to
gonna
put me in
help
that
it.
position. Yeah. You know, I'm doing a messenger job. I never thought I would be working for a messenger company. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
doing that. And
Messenger company. Wow, that's deep.
yeah, yeah, started doing a messenger company, but it taught me a lot. You know what it taught me? Because later on, I was, you know, I was a introvert. An introvert is somebody that really don't talk to too many people, that keeps to itself. Like, you see how Alyssa can be in a room full of 1,000 people and go sit in the corner by herself?
Corner by herself. For sure could.
That's an introvert, not a real social person outside of the people that she
Until
consider
you
her close.
until you get to know her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of rough for me because when you work for a messenger company, you dealing with over 100 people a day.
That's
You
tough.
know what I'm saying? So
You gotta learn how to communicate with people with that.
yeah, so now you know I'm so used to.
Thank you.
What, the door's locked?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know y'all was out there. Right? So you know, I've always been well mannered, well spoken. You know what I mean? Like I said, I never usually really used slang before. So I was good with that when it came to holding a conversation with people in positions like that. Because we was dealing with top-notch lawyers, real estate brokers, niggas that like these niggas is millionaires. One time a lady gave me a check for 500,000 and told me, can I take it to her accountant for her? She signed it and everything. These are the people that I was dealing with at this point.
Shit, some motherfuckers would have ran off with that shit.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So now I'm learning interpersonal skills. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. Use all them skills to your advantage, man, and something's gonna come knocking on the door very soon for you. I'm telling you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now I'm learning interpersonal skills. You know, because when you've been talking with people that's using drugs and selling drugs, their vocabulary is very limited. You understand? And half of the time, the whole conversation, they cursing. You feel me?
It's
So,
true.
so not
That,
that
that
I had
that helped
to,
from you reading.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now I'm doing all these things, meeting these people, and I wound up getting real good with my parole officer. So now they're not even coming out. I called my parole officer, let my wife, at the time, she was my girlfriend, let her meet my parole officer. You know, she worked a real good job. She worked for a pharmaceutical company. So she had a extremely good job. You understand what I'm saying? We wasn't in the streets. You understand? Then, she started introducing me to stuff. And it's crazy, they want, because like I said, I made over $1 million and never traveled and never left the country. I did power moves to other states. I went state for state, but I never left the country. And I had all the money in the world.
Well, wow. Could have been in Mexico, could have been in Japan, Africa,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. Florida is going to be the first time I get on an airplane. I've never been on an airplane, like, right? So these are the things that she showed me how to live life on life terms.
God bless her for that, man.
You understand what I'm saying? Because she's not that person. Like, that street shit and all that. Nah. Bro, when we got together and I used to come to her house, she used to be asleep by 9 o'clock. Even now to this day. If she When she get finished doing what she's doing, and Alyssa can tell you this, the moment at 10 o'clock, she's already asleep. And she's been like that since I've been with her.
I hope she's listening to this.
And those are the things that she helped me get in perspective. I wasn't used to that, like going on bus rides, like going on a bus ride, doing
Right.
this. You know, the first bus ride we went through Camelback Mountain. That joint was fire. Sat on the beach, you know, up in the mountains in Philly.
That's tough.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it's at. We on the beach, you know, I was in a wave pool. I wasn't used to none of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
She introduced you so many things, man, to you, man. And that shit opened your heart and your eyes, man. And that just made her more attracted to you.
Yeah, but you know what else was dope too, Laywan? When
the realness.
2015, right? Even though we separated that year, my parole officer said, "Look, Charles, you've been on parole for a while. You've been in work release for a while now. You understand what I'm saying? You've been in work release going on 3 years. We want to let you go. But when you're in work release, you got to pay for your freedom. That's what people don't know. That's why you have to have a job. So even now I'm in work release, you know, I'm doing a messenger job. I'm giving them my check every week. But do you know when I came home, I owed $22,000 in child support?
Shit.
And you want to know why? Because instead of your mother getting a job, she put Alyssa on welfare. And Medicaid wanted their money back. Right. Not welfare, Medicaid.
That sucks.
So I really didn't have no money. I used to work damn near almost 60 hours a week with this.
I know that for a fact. That's a damn sure fact. I used to call you and I'm at work still. Like, damn, for real?
Yeah, right. Man, on foot. Went to but what I brought to the messenger joint and what I learned, everything I do is about character and being able. It's like every job that I had, I approached it like I was still hustling.
That's right? A great mentality you had right there.
And I still do it to this day, right? But the other thing is, I never created a situation where I started using my supervisors like receipts. You know what I mean when I say receipts? Because I knew I wasn't going to stay at that job for so long, right? But I knew I would need a reference.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
So every job that I obtained, I looked at it like no matter what I do, I'm gonna be the best person that I can be, because when I decide to leave, I know I'm gonna need a reference. So I treat every job like at the end of the day, I need a receipt for my time. You understand what I'm saying? And one thing I learned is I don't invest my time. Even I made a promise to myself not to invest my time in anything I'm not going to get a return on.
That's deep.
If it's not immediate or relevant to what I'm doing, Laywan, I will not do it. You understand? I'm even picking and choosing my battles. If I can see a situation is bad, the first thing I do is say to myself, how far am I willing to go with it? I don't give a fuck how far he's willing to go with it. I ask myself how far I'm willing to go with it, because most of these niggas is already willing to go as far as they gonna go. And that's because either they're not thinking or they don't have nothing to lose. So I ask myself, one, is it worth it? And two, how far I'm willing to go. The moment that I deem it's not worth it, I'm cutting it short right then and there.
Cutting it short right there. I would do the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing I had to learn. You know the other thing I had to learn too when I came home that I suffered with, that I never told nobody? How to be broke. I had a counselor lay when I came home, right? And she said, Mr. Struthers, what can we do for you? I said, there's nothing you can do for me. She said, why? I know it's something wrong with you. I said, it is. And she asked me, and I said, I don't know how to be broke. I had a 13. I don't know what it is to not have, not to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it financially. You understand?
I understand.
So now, where my wife came in at, when they decided that I was good enough to let go, that I had exceeded all expectations of the program, they said, listen, we need you to give me 6 money orders. Right? Mind you, my checks used to be almost 200 something now. So they was taking they $100 out of there every week. I didn't have $600 saved up nowhere to give nobody.
Body.
My wife just filed her taxes in February of that year. I went with her to H&R Block, and they gave her an advance. And she asked me, oh, how did parole go? I said, well, they said that if I can give them 6 money orders, because that would have took up for the rest of the year. You understand?
Yeah.
That they'll let me go in March. Bro. She never said nothing to me, never mentioned it to me, never. Right? I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck I'm gonna get these money orders? Right? At the time, Missy was sick. You know, and me and Tootie didn't have that type of relationship where she wanted to give me $600. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
She was already letting me stay in her house rent free and all this other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So she decides to come visit me Friday night at my sister's house. I remember like it was yesterday. She said, here. When I opened it up, to get off parole. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can say this. I can count maybe 2 people on my hand right now that I say have done something for me in my life that didn't expect anything back.
Right. That's real. A lot of people ain't like that. A
Right?
lot of people always expect
So
everything back. And I never been that type of nigga either. You know, I always did shit for the kindness of my heart.
I notice you're Aries. That's what we do. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what's so crazy, Laywan? Because me and my wife, we're a week and a half apart. I'm the 5th and she the 16th. Our birthdays is a week and a half apart. She's an Aries too.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
So when she gave me that, I was like, oh shit, what's that? I knew right then and there, I said, I'm going to see where this going to go. And I started to take it more seriously. I started to, you understand what I'm saying? Because now, and then after that, it used to be, bring your clothes to my house on Sundays. She started washing my clothes for me every weekend. The days that I came and stayed with her, never asked me for nothing. Never made me feel no way.
Because
What you
she
want?
knew you.
You want Chinese food or you want me to cook? So you know what I did? Me and her had a bet. Because I really wasn't into eating the Chinese food all the time. So I said, if you cook and you clean, because like I told you, she had a good job. But she also had a 1-year-old son that she had to take care of, even when she got home. Go pick him up from the daycare, from the babysitter, and then go home, cook, take her shower, bathe, clean her house, and get back up again at 5:30 in the morning to do the same thing all over again. Because she had to be, to be to work at 6 o'clock. You understand? In the morning. So me and her made a deal. I said, just so we can spend more time, I took some of the responsibility from her. I said, if you cook, you understand? So when we used to get finished dinner, I would go in there, wipe the stove off, sweep and mop the kitchen floor.
Right. That's what's up. That's all the little shit that counts, man. And people look into that, man.
You know what I'm saying? That was the deal we had.
I didn't understand that until I became, until I got to my 30, 31, 32.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we had that deal. And it just blossomed from there. But you know what I realized? We was happy and everybody else around us was mad.
Jealous.
Everybody else was going through it. You know what I'm saying? She and being that I always had younger sisters and I had daughters and everything, and being in Harlem and dealing with a lot of girls, right? I understood certain things. So I knew what it was like to give pedicures. So even though I didn't really have nothing really much to bring to the table other than just loving her for her, I used to part and greet. You know what I'm saying? For her. Give her little manicures, pedicures, body massages, stuff like that. Because I knew already after being up at 4 o'clock in the morning and still having to come home, cook, clean, and this and that. By 9 o'clock, she was exhausted. So I knew if I wanted to spend some time with her during the week, I would have to take some of the responsibilities off my hands. You understand what I'm saying? Like, make that time easy. So I knew when I got off, I would go straight to her house. I would meet her at her house. By 6 o'clock, I'll meet her at her house. So I knew if I wanted to spend some time with her before she went to sleep, before she was ready for bed or whatever, I would have to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Take some of the responsibilities off. So that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? And it just blossomed into something else. And then it was just, she also forced me to grow up a lot.
You get that in some people, man. You meet some people and they change you for the better.
Yeah, you know what it is? Because they want to be honest, I was just always a person that just did what I wanted. And she fought with me on everything. You know what I'm saying? Like she really, and even to the day, she fight me on a lot of shit. You understand? But she fought me on things that I blew. I would just blow off. Like, I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That shit ain't about nothing, man. And she just made me pay attention. Like, no, nigga, it's something to me. You know what I'm saying?
It may not be something to you, but it's for something to me. I cherish this.
Yeah, and then she made me where, because even with her, I was still like a private person. Like I don't like confrontation.
Oh, you have changed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and when everything hit the fan, like one, I just said, go. I just asked, I was like, yo, I'm trying to build this incredible life for myself. I'm going to build this incredible life for myself. I'm trying to be this better person for my daughter. Da, 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 da. I said, but I don't need a girlfriend. I need a wife.
Put that ring on it.
And I went down there to the Diamond District. Point out the one with the most rocks in it. Took me, Laywan, mind you, can you imagine me telling you it took me a year to get that ring out the store, but I did it?
Don't matter. You got it. And that was the goal.
Took me a year. I wasn't used to that. Putting something on layaway. I wasn't used to that. The first time
Because
I
you
went
had
in the
all
store to
the
look at
money.
the rings, I walked out. You understand what I'm saying? The first, because I already knew the rings was expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Rings are starting at $15,000, $2,000. So I go in there because you know, Lamont, you know what the funny thing about being a hustler, nigga? Even when you ain't got no money, it's still some things you just ain't gonna settle for. Now, I could have went in there and got a nice, I could have went in there and got a ring and paid $500 for it, but it wouldn't have been the ring that I would have gotten. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
It wasn't the one for you. You know how you look at something, you be like, nah, that's the
it's the
one
thought
right
that
there.
count. Yo, you know how some people say it's the thought that count?
Mm-hmm.
Don't never fall for that. Because certain things you can get away with.
I'm gonna post that tonight. Don't never fall for it's the thought that count. Never fall for that.
Yeah, it's the thought that count.
Right
They
there.
might appreciate it, but the thought wasn't as big as the expectation.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's
my thing is,
that's a
if you're gonna
gem
do
right
something,
there.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because it could have been a beautiful thought. And they may take it just on that note. But you got some people that's saying, if a nigga want my hand, that ring gotta look like he wanted my hand. You understand what I'm saying? And you got some people where that don't matter. They just happy that you want to marry them. You know what I'm saying? But me coming from where I come from, and it's some things I just won't never compromise. Like, I'm never gonna buy something for anybody that I care about that I'm not gonna buy for myself. So I took my time to pick that ring out. And I already knew what I wanted to get her when I saw it. You understand?
Let me cut you off real quick. We got a voice note. Oh snap! Let me play that.
So I have a question. I hear you say that you need over $1 million. And I hear you say that you had, a tough time adjusting to being broke. With all honesty, when were you most happy? I mean, most happy. And that also includes being content and being at peace. When you were up, when you were down, when were you most happy? That's just something I gotta know.
That was Brittany. If you want me to replay that message, I can replay it for you. But that was Brittany. Thank you for that beautiful message and for that. What do you say?
I'm most happy right now. I look forward to getting up and going to work. I met some incredible guys where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there'll never be my guys that I ran the street with. Like my guys that I ran the street with, I love them to death. You understand what I'm saying? But what people don't know is when they offer you, like when I came home and I was going through what I was going through, I had a man office. Yo, Charlie, I'll give you this to get back on your feet. Charlie, I'll do this for you. And one part of me questioned, like, do I want to do it? But the other part of me was like, I'm not going back to jail. But with that being said, is I'm the most happiest now.
Got you.
When my first year home, now since I've been home, I've never missed. Since I've been home, I don't care. Since I've been home, I've always made it a way where I came home in March of 2011, right? The 28th.
28.
I managed to get enough money up. I managed to get $150 up to make sure Alyssa had Easter. Now, people frown on the Children's Place and the Gap, but I can guarantee you this. I was able to send Alyssa $25. I got her some fucking Air Max and a mean jean suit. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. I got a jean suit from the Children's Place. And I think that whole suit might have cost me $35. Alyssa's whole Easter outfit cost me $85. And I was still able to send her some money when Easter came. Right?
Britt, that's my sister he's talking about.
Right? But I bought her a costume that Halloween, my first Halloween, 2011 Halloween. I bought her a costume. Right? And this is the answer to the question. And you got to forgive me because I can't give short answers. I broke down and cried. Now, some people look at it like it was like you broke down because you couldn't send your daughter a costume. No, that's not why I cried.
It was the feeling. It's what that is. She.
You know what I cried about, Layvon? I had the costume. I just didn't have $8 to send it. How the fuck I ran through $1 million and didn't have $8 to send my daughter a costume for Easter? I mean, for Halloween. You know how that felt? Right then and there, I was ready to go back to the streets. Right? Now, with that being said, I've never missed a birthday, never missed a Halloween or anything else after that. Right? But I'm at peace right now more than I've ever been. I get up. Right? Because I work hard. Now I just got to work twice as hard for what I want. But even though I made that money, I'm doing more things than I've ever done in my life. I'm traveling. I'm hanging out. I know what it feels like to get up and earn my money. You understand? I work hard for my money, so I spend it consciously. I'm careful about what I do with my money. You know, because to run through that much money and not have nothing to show for it is ridiculous. But I'm at peace now more than ever.
Wow. All right, we got another voice note.
Thank you so much for answering that question, but I already knew that. I just needed confirmation. And I felt that more in depth when you started to speak about your wife and how she forced you to grow up. Not saying that, she's the main reason why you're happy now opposed to being happy then. But it started to get more deep. I heard the conversation, take a transition, when you started talking about your wife. But shout out to you. And as a black man, I'm proud of you, from transitioning from that street nigga to this grown man I'm listening to. Shout out to you. It couldn't have been easy. Still facing obstacles, I'm sure. So yeah, shout out to you and congratulations on everything.
Thank you, Brent, for that powerful message. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's that, but and I'm just like I said, like today, I'm more of an open book. Like people say, yo, Charlie, you'll talk to anybody. I remember at one time I wouldn't talk to nobody. You understand? But I'm an open book, and I just believe that when I prayed and asked God to just get me home, and I said to myself, I'll never sell another drug, I'll never cheat again, I'll never do that. Like, I meant that shit. And believe me, when that judge said 11 years, and my lawyer, because I had a decent paid lawyer, he told me, listen, man, you'll be home before that. Just don't get in no trouble. You'll be home before that. Trust me. And I trusted him. And I came home before that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But them niggas tried to give me 15 plus 5. 6 plus 5 sound a lot different than 15 plus 5. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I asked my wife to marry me. She said, yeah. And it's just, and like I said, nothing that you want for is happens overnight, and what people don't realize, your marriage ain't happy because you happy people. You happy in your marriage because you work on it every day. When people look at me and my wife, they wouldn't think, when people look at me and my wife and they see us outside late, they just think that we this God-given couple, but we got our shit that we go through. You know what I'm saying? Because we still, even though we've been together going on 8 years, we still learning each other. Sometimes, some people say, oh, but when you first get with somebody, certain conversations you have and you talk about certain things, but sometimes them conversations don't come up until situations happen. Because half of the time people bury certain shit. So you wouldn't know what they've been through and until something happens and they explain it to you. So you can't say you learn, like I heard a motherfucker say, oh, I know this person like the back of my hand. No, you don't. You know who they are when they with you. But we all, I believe everybody have went through things that they haven't had the opportunity to talk about. They haven't had the opportunity to express. You know what I'm saying? Or they just buried it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to deal with it at the moment. Sometimes people don't deal with things until they have to deal with them. So every day we still learning each other. If people don't communicate the way they used to, like right now, if you're dealing with a girl and the sex is good and y'all keep fucking, y'all in a relationship, you may not even know the girl's favorite color.
Blue.
You understand? But the funny thing is, not everybody know. Like niggas, you got niggas laughing like, yo, that's some corny shit. But the funny thing is, if your chick really, if a nigga girl really decide to say, yo, what is my favorite color? You know how many niggas gonna fail that test? And you didn't have a baby with this chick and everything. You don't even know. Because certain questions people don't ask because they deem it stupid. But that's still a learning situation. You understand? You still learning.
Deep. Let me press play on that. I'm trying to play, but this damn phone.
Too many niggas that fail that one test, fail terribly.
Play it again.
Too many niggas that fail that one test, fail terribly.
Too many niggas done fell on that one test miserably.
And that's a simple thing, Lay. That's simple.
It is simple.
That's simple.
A lot of niggas just be trying to just be worrying about the pussy too much, man, instead of trying to go deeper into the rabbit hole and knowing the person, man, or their colors or their situations growing up, man. That shit is important.
So me and my wife, we still learning each other. But when you see us in the street, like, because you know what? I tell my wife she's gonna win every argument. You know why? Like, because I'm not that dude. I don't feel I have to win every argument. I don't feel I have to be right. My argument is understand me. I don't have to be right. Just understand me.
That's right.
That's my argument.
I like that.
That's my stance. I don't have to be right. Just understand where I'm coming from. And if you see or if you feel that where I'm coming from warrant my reaction, respect it. That's all. I don't have to be right. Too many motherfuckers died trying to be right. I don't want to be right. I just want you to understand me so we can move past it and we don't never go through that again. But some things it's harder to get past than others. Especially when when you have people that's been in bad relationships and the person that they trust hurt them, and they go through something and they dealing with shit with control and insecurities. After a person takes their happiness in their own hands, and after a while they start dealing with it on the note that I'm not ever giving nobody that much power again. I'm not trusting nobody with that much power again. And sometimes that be the fight. You understand? I'm saying, listen, you don't have to put me in that category because one, I don't have those type of insecurities. Two, I'm okay with you doing things that make you happy as long as it's not about you disrespecting you or me. You understand? I'm not worrying about what you doing when you're not with me because I'm a firm believer that I've built the relationship up with my wife that when I'm outside, I don't feel no way to call my wife to say, listen, um, I'm going out with the fellas. If it ain't nothing that you want to do or this you don't have a problem, I see you at such and such time. And then if I know that I'm gonna be out a little later than that, I call her. I'm not worried about niggas telling me I'm checking in. Listen, I don't got time for those games. You understand what I'm saying? I believe some things is just about considering your other person. And especially when you're living with a person and building a life with that person, you have to understand that sometimes it's important that your significant other know where you are.
Right. You never know what could happen.
So,
So
what I'm saying?
communication
Like
is important.
that's just where I'm at. And besides that, now I found my outlet. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. I got another 2 semesters. Then I graduate with my bachelor's so I can do this counselor thing that I told you. You know what I'm saying?
And you got your podcast out too that you got.
Yeah, I got my podcast. I'm doing the Mercs. You know what I'm saying? I got my
Thank
online
you
store.
too for putting me on to that too, man. You the one that inspired me to even do this shit too. On top of that,
Yeah, man. Yeah, somebody told me I had a story to tell. Being in your life and knowing you practically almost your whole life, you have a story to tell. You know what I mean? And you're so much. Ever since you was young, I always deemed you to be the responsible one. Yeah, we all make mistakes and do stupid shit. That's why when you told me your situation and you called me, I was honest with you. I didn't pull no punches with you. I wasn't gonna tell you some shit that I knew just was not gonna be
and
realistic,
that's all I be
especially.
wanting. Honesty, I want somebody to be very blunt with me, because then I will eventually I will get it, even though if it's going to hurt me. But let me play these 2 messages real quick before we continue. Come on.
Deep. That was deep. As a 31-year-old woman, I just learned something right here in this instant. I don't have to argue. Like, that's powerful. Like, I win an argument by understanding. That was powerful. I appreciate that, Jewel. That was deep. Yes, 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 yes. Why isn't every man listening to this right here, right now? Yes, it's about the other person, considering the other person. People neglect to do that simple thing all the time.
Right. She's talking about, the calling and all that, and being responsible, letting your significant other knowing where you're at, or what's going on, what you're doing.
Yeah, and when I call my wife, I call her on FaceTime. I don't have a problem with her seeing my environment. And one time I was out with my guys, and we doing the thing, and one thing led to another, and I realized that one of his friends popped up with a whole bunch of females. I called my wife and said I'm coming home because I know when I'm out, me and her conversate. I'm on video. I'm not gonna step in the hallway to speak to my wife because I don't want her to see where I'm at. Anytime I gotta do that, I don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So I
that's
left.
tough.
Yeah, I brought my ass home. I'm not gonna put myself in a situation to force her to question me. Some people don't like the fact that you question them or you being questioned, but
I used to
you
be
put
like
yourself
that.
but you put yourself in a position, you do shit to be questioned. Like, if you don't do things that make me question you, I wouldn't question you. You understand? It's just like keeping a promise, right? I don't use that word promise. You know why I don't use that word promise?
But they break all
Because
the
you
time.
either gonna, because Layvon, if you do what you say you're gonna do, you'll never have to make a promise to anybody because they'll trust that you're gonna do it.
Mm. Real shit.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like anytime you gotta say, Layvon, is you gonna go to the store for me? You say, yeah, I'm not gonna forget, I promise. That's because you've disappointed that person. You understand?
Before.
You've disappointed them not once, but more than once. So now they feel like they got to remind you. You know, and not every situation is that you said fuck them or something else that was more important. No, but we tend to forget. But in forgetting, sometimes we create a situation when it happens too often, a moment of doubt.
It's true.
There's a moment of doubt. You understand? And anytime there's doubt, there's an issue. Don't never let nobody tell you that it's not an issue when somebody starts to doubt.
Mm.
You
That's
know,
so true.
so now back to me just being happy. Like, I get up and go to work. I look forward to going to work. My wife is like, damn, I ain't never seen nobody so happy to go to work. Like, well, sometimes I'm doing, at one time I was doing doubles because the group of guys that I surround myself with, like my guys, we all right now is doing things outside of work. Like, we doing the stocks and we doing clothing. You know, I got one guy, he just travels and he wants to do his own travel agency. Like, that's his thing. I got my other man, he's a cook. He works for the hospital, but outside of the hospital, he cooks. He's catering. Like, all of my guys got things, got side hustles. You know what I'm saying? And we support one another. You know, it's deep. And we having clean fun. You know what I'm saying? We not hurting nobody, not selling no drugs, and not, we ain't doing all that old crazy dumb shit that
Gotta
we was doing
feel
before.
the same way, man. I got a small team that just support one another, man. From my boy CJ, my boy John, my boy Tell. It's a small team, bro, but we all support each other and everybody everybody in our circle wants everyone to win, man. And that's important when you
Like,
have type of people around you.
yeah, when I started to do the clothing, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I knew I wanted to do it. Now, mind you, I got guys that I grew up with that's doing it, right? I used to ask them, like, yo, how you do that? Like, where you get that pressed up at? Nobody never answered me.
Nobody don't want to answer.
It was always about me buying they shit. You know what I'm saying? So now when I started the podcast, and my man was like, yo, you should do merch. I'm like, for real? He said, yeah, man, do this, man. Promote your joint. It's like a sign of promotion. But the shit wound up jumping to more than a promotion because now the way I did my logos and started doing my shirts and my hats, niggas was like, yo, Charlie, how much you gonna sell? I didn't even know how much to sell a hat for, Layvon. My man said, yo, nah, listen, I'm gonna take you where to go to get it done. I'm gonna show you where to get the hat from. Now, I already knew about the wholesale place because I used to do Messenger. So I already knew about all of that. I just didn't know where the clothes done at.
We got
My
a
man
voice
said,
note.
yeah.
We got a voice. Hold on.
And for that reason right there, we having clean fun. We not hurting nobody. We not selling no drugs. That's why I said back in my first message, I'm proud of you, black man. Congratulations. I transitioned to hear this story is inspiring, and congratulations. Shout out to the team that you're surrounding yourself around, because that too is important when you're trying to construct yourself. You have to be conscious of the energy you accept. You have to be conscious of the conversations you engage in. All of that shit plays a part of it. So congratulations again.
That's a big Snapple fact.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. And Lay, like, and that's just always been.
We got another voice note. This shit's jumping now. We got 4 viewers now coming in here. Hold on. Boy CJ. Hold on. I'm trying to play it.
Yo, I just want to give a big shout out to my boy L, man. I'm just joining. My bad, bro. I was in the crib taking care of business, man, making clothes and doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? But yo, big shout out to you and yours. You heard?
You see how I just mentioned him and he just popped out of nowhere?
Yeah, man.
That's Soraya's godfather.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. We need that, man. You know what I'm saying? We need that, bro. Like, it. Listen, man. Right? I tell people every day. I got sons. They not biologically mine, but I got sons. And my thing is, when I look at y'all, man, I just want y'all to understand. Like, I did what I did and I had fun. But bro, that's not the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember one of the letters that I sent you. When I wrote y'all one of my letters, I said, if I can give back all the money, I would, just to be home with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I meant that. You know what I'm saying? And Lay, you know what I'm getting ready to do for the first time? I'm getting ready to do a cigar lounge, right? With my guys. We get ready to make a reservation to go to this cigar lounge in Carnegie Hall.
I want to do something like that too. I don't even smoke cigars. I just want to go on a trip with my
Nah,
close niggas.
but people, it's not even about the cigar. It's about the experience. Like,
Experience, exactly. And that's why I don't
right?
even
So
care about smoking it because I don't smoke cigars. It's just the experience.
yeah, but
Something you can talk about.
yeah, so we get ready to do that. I don't smoke either, but it's the experience in Lay. I ain't gonna lie, I want the whole experience. I just went and bought a mean blazer because they say you can't go into these cigars lounge dressed any kind of way. Like you got to be
Suit
looking a
and
certain
tie.
way. You know what I'm saying? I went and got the mean blazer to wear. You know what I'm saying? I got some loafs that I'm gonna throw on. That's crazy.
Ow,
You know what I'm
ow.
saying? I got my frames. I'm gonna get the manicure because they say the people that be in these places is like corporate lawyers and executives. Because that's they setting. That's
Let
their
me,
thing. You know what I'm saying?
let me
But
interrupt you
that
one
don't
more
mean.
time. We got another voice note. I be trying to get these voice notes out fast enough.
You might have 4 viewers, but you're about to lose one because one thing I can't stand is somebody speaking over their co-host and interrupting them midway. You're bullshit, man.
I don't know who that is, but continue.
Well, everybody got their opinion. You know what I'm saying? But we 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 are enjoying. I hope we enjoying ourselves, having a power conversation. We've been doing this since like 7:30. It's almost 11:30. Come on, bro. We getting it out. We getting it in. This is a conversation probably long overdue. You know what I'm saying? We just doing it right here. We sharing it. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Let me press play on this one also.
Yo, whoever Shorty was, bro, tell Shorty to kick bricks, man. I'm glad we lost you. Goodbye, Grimmy, whatever the your name is, bro. I don't even like shit like that, bro. Get the fuck up out of here with that dumb shit.
Facts. I don't even
Yo,
know her. She was here for 3 seconds and said something stupid.
because
Man.
everybody got to, everybody, one thing we got to do, man. We got some people who don't think before they speak.
Amen.
And sometimes people just want attention. She, because she probably couldn't relate to anything that we were saying. She chose that. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like
On top of that, yo, even though that we knew each other for years, she don't know that she doesn't know that you knew me since I was a little boy in elementary school. She doesn't know that. But
you know, but you can just tell, I don't want to use the thing that, she's not of our culture, but she wanted to say something, but she just didn't know what to say because she couldn't, as much as she was listening, if she was listening as, if she was listening at all, because she might have heard us, but she probably wasn't listening really. You understand? Just didn't know what to say. So
right. Let me press play on this
have a
one.
good night.
Right. Have a good night. Hold on. Let me press play.
Bro, and that's what make me mad, bro. She probably was in here for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Your man is talking, but this is the point of this whole podcast. Y'all having discussions back and forth. Like, go somewhere, shorty. Like, come on. All that negativity, you could have kept to yourself and exited quietly. Fuck is wrong with you?
Amen.
Amen to that, man. Man, it's probably a lot of people out there like that, that just can't relate to where we coming from and don't know what to say and just want to say something, but don't think about it first. You know what I'm saying? So them people, them Bryanston people and, you know, Black Lives Do Matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is, you know what I mean? Just, they can't relate. That's all, I'm just going to leave it at that. She probably couldn't relate to anything we was talking about. So I'm just going to leave it at that and pray that she have a good night, But, Lay,
We
it's
it's getting late. We almost at the close of this show. Let me play this last voice notes. If anybody else want to drop any voice notes before we close out, feel free to do that.
And with that being said, back to the story because we rocking. This is how real conversation go down. This is how powerful conversations go about. You know what I'm saying? It's feeding each other one idea for one idea, one exchange for another. Shorty was in here for a couple of seconds. She said what she said. She got her 15 seconds of fame. We rocking now.
15 seconds of fame and ain't get no money out of it. Wow.
loser. I wish they had a sound on this so you could be like loser.
I'm a definitely listen. Did you know? And this is why I like this. And they had updated it so much that you could, you could play messages back now and all that. And with this app also, that you could save the audio. And number the app Anchor you put me on to, I could put it on Anchor and I could add sounds to that. So now that you said that, I'm gonna definitely add the loser to that when I get a chance. Stupid.
Yeah, man. Bozo all caps. You know what I mean? But like it's been pleasant. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you invited me. I'm glad that we had that conversation. And just I just want you to push forward. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and get the most out of it and just grow through these conversations. That's if I had anything that I wanted to say to you, just grow through these conversations you're gonna be having with people. And just know, even though you might come across silly people like that one that just came on here, take something out of that too. Nothing, everything matters. Don't let nobody say a bad comment is not a good thing. No, it is. That just lets people listening. And if she thought that she needed to respond, that's so we okay too. We can't let people impose their thoughts and feelings on us, especially when they don't know what we going through, what we've been through. They don't understand where we coming from. The purpose of this thing that we doing right now. It's dialogue. We creating dialogue. And if you thought that because at one point in time we might have got excited and the conversation was getting real good and we both had to say something that we didn't want to lose a thought or whatever, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that you take whatever it is and grow through it.
Copy. You're definitely right. Let me play this last comment. We're gonna close out right after this last.
Yo, bro. You know, if I was up there, I'd have got that dumbass. Fuck out of here, man. But like I said, I'm proud of you, man. You doing what you got to do. Podcast is back up and running, yo. Let me know when we trying to co-host this thing again. You heard? Lit times.
Yo, I'm definitely gonna let you know when we're gonna co-host again, man. Pretty soon, man. But this was the start. Like I said, new logo, new guests, new everything, new topics, new conversation, and this is all I wanted to get serious about this. And this right here was a big step. And before we go, I just want to thank you, Charlie, for being a part of this, man, for being a part of my life when I was younger, man, and stepping up when I just had my grandfather and just helping out with my grandmother and my aunt and just dropping gems. So I just want to give you your roses here and right now before you go, man, and just say thank you for from doing what you was doing now and changing your whole life, man. A lot of people don't know how to do that, man, and for you to do that, I just want to say thank you and I love you for that, man, and continue what you're doing for not only for yourself but for your family and for your wife, man, and everything's going to keep going the way it's supposed to be doing, man. Just keep working hard and keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, man. I really do, man. I really do. For
Yo,
real, man. But like I
everybody,
said, it was a pleasure.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in earlier to the session. Thanks again, and everybody get home safe. Have a good night, and thank you. One love.
Peace.